Chapter 280, was even more shameless than me. Yun Chujio almost slapped herself in the face. Who told you to be talkative? Who told you to be cocky? The gigolo had found a loophole. However, there was no way for him to take the spirit stones that were already in her hands. Yun Chujio picked up her chopsticks and continued eating, acting as if she did not hear him. Those who were in the battle of wits just a few moments ago had not had their fill of the food. Black thing, don't assume that you can go back on your words just because you don't speak. If you don't give it to me, best believe that it'll make you pay me double in the future. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Yun Chujio secretly scolded the gigolo 100 times before continuing to pretend that she did not hear him. She ate happily. Di Baiming glanced at Yun Chujio and said faintly, "Black thing, I'll ask you again. Are you going to give it to me or not? I don't care if you want to hog it all to yourself, but in the future, you can forget about eating these food again." Yun Chujio weighed the pros and cons and immediately said shamelessly, "Prince Charming, I'm not acting dumb. I just want to have a good time since I've never had that many spirit stones. However, since you want it, I'll give it to you." The miserable Yun Chujio did not even get the chance to hold the 990,000 spirit stones and it already left her hands. Therefore, she turned her anger into appetite and ate all the food on the stone table. Then, she hummed while rubbing her belly. "Wow, I'm so full. And Fong, carry the Prince Charming into the house. Help him wipe his face again. I'm so full now. I have to digest my food before I do anything. Humph. Gigolo, since you're stealing my spirit stones, I won't serve you anymore." Di Baiming curled the corner of his mouth. "Black thing, I initially thought that it was quite troublesome for you to carry me and wipe my face, and wanted to pay you some reward for it. Since you're not feeling well, then forget about it." Yun Chujio immediately jumped over and asked, "My Prince Charming, how much do you plan to pay? Why are you asking if you're not feeling well? And Fong, carry me into the house." Di Baiming said lightly. And Fong was very smart. He immediately came over and said, "Miss Jill, let me carry our lord. You can continue walking around. Go away. That's my bedroom. Can a man like you enter as he pleases? Prince Charming, give me a price. I'm not that full anymore." Yun Chujio said obsequiously. Di Baiming glanced at her. "Since you're so proactive, I'll let you carry me. As usual, 2,000 spirit stones for each service. Deal." Yun Chujio was afraid that Di Baiming would go back on his word, so she carried him into the room. After entering the room, Yun Chujio was like a hard-working bee. She helped Di Baiming take off his coat, then wiped his face and rinsed his mouth. She was extremely attentive. Di Baiming curled the corners of his mouth. "Black thing, no matter how hard you jump, you can't escape from my palm." Yun Chujio finally finished her work. She laid on the bed and pondered. Damn it, she had just earned 10,000 spirit stones in half a day. It was not even a fraction of 990,000. The gigolo was using her money to hire her to serve him. Shameless. He was even more shameless than her. Yun Chujio was not happy, so she naturally wanted to torture Di Baiming. Therefore, she got up and said to him lovingly, "Give me a good night kiss, Prince Charming." Di Baiming was stunned at first, then he said in a panic, "Nonsense. Go to sleep. Prince Charming, don't be shy. Come, let me have a kiss." Yun Chujio pouted her pink and tender lips and slowly approached him. Di Baiming's heart was filled with both anticipation and anger. He thought of what happened that morning and felt that this black thing was definitely teasing him again. Yun Chujio naturally did not want to kiss him. She wanted to tease Di Baiming, but unfortunately, her hands slipped and she could not support her body. Yun Chujio's lips landed directly on Di Baiming's lips. Di Baiming naturally would not let go of such a good opportunity. He immediately began conquering her. A thought flashed through Yun Chujio's mind. Fuck, I, a dumb child, accidentally forcefully kissed the gigolo again. Chapter 281, I'll take care of you. After a long while, the two's French kissing finally came to an end. Yun Chujo got up and pretended to be calm. Not bad. My Prince Charming, your kissing skills have improved vastly. Yun Chujo did not wait for Di Biming to react and hid her little head under the quilt. Damn, it was so embarrassing. From the corner of his eye, Di Biming saw Yun Chujo hiding under the blanket like a quail. He could not help but smile. This black thing actually knows how to be shy. How rare. The next morning, Di Biming woke up early. He did not sleep well throughout the night. The scenes in his dream was really. Di Biming subconsciously raised his hand to move Yun Chujia's arm from his chest. Then, he was stunned. I can move now. Di Biming slightly raised his leg and turned his neck. He had really returned to normal. At that moment, Yun Chujo woke up. Before she opened her eyes, she stretched her body and smiled widely at Di Biming. Prince Charming, good morning. Are you feeling better? Can you move now? Di Biming's eyes flashed. My neck is better, but I can't move the other parts yet. Yun Chujo comforted him. Prince Charming, illness comes like a landslide, and goes away slowly. Take your time, there's no rush. Di Biming nodded. His heart was deeply moved, and he asked in a deep voice, well, I hope so. If I'm really disabled, what will you do? Yun Chujo was stunned at first, then she said indifferently, it's okay. It's okay. If you're really disabled, I'll take care of you. Di Biming's heart warmed up. Black Thing truly loved me deeply. Even if I'm crippled, she would not abandon me. Anyway, it won't delay the birth of your child. When the time comes, I'll get your son to serve you. Then, I'll be able to go out and have fun. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, you're crippled now. From now on, your storage ring belongs to me. I'll be in charge of finances. Black Thing, just give up on that idea. Even if I'm crippled, I won't let you have the money to go out and show off. Di Biming was so angry that he almost choked. Yun Chujo pouted. Look at how stingy you are. If you don't want to give it to me, then don't. I'll earn money and spend it myself. Humph. I don't believe that with my heaven-defying alchemy talent, I won't be able to earn money in the future. Maybe in the future, you'll have to rely on me to support you. Di Biming's eyes flashed, but he didn't say anything. Pitch, you Black Thing. Even if you earn money, I'll still think of a way to get all your spirit stones into my possession. Can't have people like you have money. Seeing that Di Biming did not say anything, Yun Chujo thought that he had been convinced by her. She got down from the bed in a smugly. After washing up, she continued to provide him with her fee-based services. She helped Di Biming wipe his face, used mouthwash to freshen his mouth, then helped Di Biming put on a coat. Di Biming was both joyous and in pain. Yesterday, he could not move and Yun Chujo helped him with these things. He did not feel any different. However, now that he could move, it was really hard pretending to not be able to. Yun Chujo carried Di Biming to the recliner in the courtyard and said sneakily, Prince Charming, hurry up and prepare breakfast. I'm hungry. Di Biming probably feigned a guilty conscience and did not argue with her about the cost of the meal. He took out their breakfast from his storage ring. Yun Chujo scooped a bowl of porridge for them. She ate a mouthful before feeding Di Biming a mouthful. She did not feel that there was anything wrong with the two of them using the same spoon. Di Biming was secretly delighted. I'm really too wise. If this venerable self did not continue feigning illness, how could the Black Thing take care of me so meticulously? Besides, there isn't any matters that needs to be taken care of for the next few weeks, so I'll just pretend to be sick for some time. Chapter 282, The Miserable Emperor. After breakfast, Yun Chujo offered to give Di Biming a massage in order to earn money. He naturally agreed to it. Yun Chujio first massaged Di Baiming's shoulders for a while, then started massaging his thighs. The miserable emperor was still feeling smug just a moment ago but was starting to reap the consequences. Yun Chujio did not care about anything else and started to press on Di Baiming's thigh. The emperor, who had always kept himself pure, could not withstand such a stimulation. A certain part of his body immediately reacted. Yun Chujio curled her lips in disdain. Prince Charming, you said that your limbs are already stiff. How can there still be a reaction there? You're really a lecherous person. The ancestors really did not lie to me. Boom. Di Baiming's face instantly turned scarlet red. He stuttered, nonsense, nonsense. No, there's no need to massage anymore. How can I not? I'm a businessman with a spirit of honesty. Since I've taken your spirit stones, I naturally have to finish massaging you. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Di Baiming finally knew what it meant to lift a stone and throw it at his own feet. How could it be that less than 15 minutes passed even after such a long time? Di Baiming felt that time was passing so slowly. Finally, Yun Chujio withdrew her demon claw and announced that the massage was over. Di Baiming secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It was finally over. If it was not over, his true self would only be exposed. Black Thing, don't you need to go to the meeting hall today? Di Baiming wanted to go down and exercise, so he naturally had to send Yun Chujio away. No need. I've already explained everything clearly yesterday. Yun Chujio did not have any intention of leaving the courtyard. Di Baiming frowned, then, don't you need to go to the kitchen to work? No need. I'm skipping work. Prince Charming, why do I feel like you're trying to chase me away? Are you going to do something bad behind my back? Yun Chujio blinked and looked at Di Baiming suspiciously. Nonsense. What bad things can I do? I'm afraid it'll delay your matters. Forget it if you don't appreciate my kindness. Di Baiming was a little angry from embarrassment. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Ah, my Prince Charming. Now that you've mentioned it, I just remembered. I have to go to the Spirit Herb Garden. Prince Charming, do you really not need me to take care of you? Di Baiming's eyes lit up. No, you go. Don't worry about me. An Feng and an Een will take care of me. All right. I'll go to the Spirit Herb Garden then. See you later. Yun Chujio said and left. Di Baiming felt that Yun Chujio had gone far away, so he stood up and started to move his limbs on the ground. Your Excellency, you're healed. Were you pretending just now? An Feng asked in surprise. Di Baiming glanced at him, and An Feng shrunk his neck. He cursed in his heart. Your Excellency, I didn't expect you to think of such a childish trick. You're really good. Yun Chujio only came back when it was almost dinner time. She fed Di Baiming dinner and the two of them returned to the bedroom. My Prince Charming, I've already prepared the bath water. Come, let me help you take a bath. Yun Chujio took out a big hot tub from her storage ring. Di Baiming shouted angrily, didn't we bathe the night before yesterday? I don't want to bathe. I want to sleep. Prince Charming, this isn't up to you. Besides, you can't move now. You'd have to wash up regardless, so might as well do it tonight. Besides, I didn't see anything last time. This time, I have to feast my eyes. Yun Chujio said lecherously. Come on. Prince Charming. I'll help you take off your clothes first. Yun Chujio stretched out her claws and went straight for Di Baiming's belt. Chapter 283, I really didn't expect you to be such a Prince Charming. A cunning look flashed across Yun Chujio's eyes. Gigolo, you actually pretended to be sick. Let's see if you still want to pretend this time. I am so smart. The gigolo usually keeps a close eye on me, but today he actually took the initiative to send me away. There must be something fishy going on. When Yun Chujio came back at night, she deliberately looked at the ground. Although Di Baiming had destroyed most of the footprints, Yun Chujio still found a few residual footprints and immediately figured it out. Come, let me help you take off your belt. How dare you pretend to be sick and lie to me? Watch how I deal with you. When Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio was serious, he did not care if he was exposed. He directly grabbed Yun Chujio's little claws that were already on the move. Black thing. Stop. Yun Chujio pretended to be pleasantly surprised. My idol, you can actually move? Are you okay? Di Baiming coughed and said unnaturally, I guess it's because I'm in a hurry that my blood flow is unblocked. My Prince Charming, then you have to thank me. If I didn't force you to take a bath, you might really be paralyzed. Shouldn't you show your gratitude? Yun Chujio blinked her eyes, taking credit. Di Baiming was a little guilty, so he said, cough. It's really thanks to you this time. I'll give you a few more spiritual fruits tomorrow. Prince Charming, how's your internal injury? Yun Chujio secretly curled her lips. What a stingy person. My internal injury needs to be slowly treated, but it's not a big deal anymore. Prince Charming, since you're fine, then I'll participate in the new disciple trial the day after tomorrow. Those old guys don't want me to participate. I'll just have to win the first place for them. I'll definitely be little ancestor Yun. Yun Chujio was initially conflicted about whether she should stay to take care of Di Baiming or go to the trial. Now that he was fine, she naturally had to participate in the trial. Di Baiming was in the wrong, so he could not stop Yun Chujio and could only say, then go. Safety first. I should also return. After I leave, if that red-robed fool still comes looking for you, just ignore him. With my threat, he won't dare to do anything to you. Although Di Baiming said that, he was still a little uncertain. He decided to find something for Shui Wuji to do when he returned, so that he would not have the time to find trouble with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio said sourly, all right, you can continue to go back and choose your consort. I really didn't expect you to be such a Prince Charming. On one hand, you've swore to stay by my side, and on the other hand, you're out looking for flirtatious bitches. Di Baiming was stunned, and then he laughed, black thing. When did I swear to stay by you? Besides, the whole concubine selection thing was just a joke. Are you actually jealous? Jealous? I would never do such a lowly thing. If you dare to steal my man, I'll beat them until they can't find their way. Besides, I'm so beautiful now. I'm not afraid that no one will pursue me. Yun Chujio climbed onto the bed angrily and lay down on the inner side. Black thing, I'm warning you. After I leave, you better stop fooling around with me, or I will not forgive you. Di Baiming felt that it was better for the black thing not to turn fairer. She was indeed a little more eye-catching. Yun Chujio pursed her lips and did not say anything. Black thing, did you hear that? Di Baiming poked Yun Chujio, who had her back facing him. I'm asleep. Yun Chujio said proudly. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. When I leave tomorrow, I'll leave some delicious food for you. Be obedient. Yun Chujio immediately turned around. Really? My Prince Charming, I knew you were the best. I'll be obedient and train hard. I'll never be a womanizer. Can you leave some spirit stones for me too? Chapter 284, Bad Review. Di Baiming's face darkened. You can have food and drinks, but spirit stones are out of the question. Yun Chujio curled her lips. What a stingy gigolo. I'll earn it myself. After breakfast the next day, Di Baiming left. Yun Chujio secretly thought to herself, what an unromantic gigolo. He actually left without even giving her a goodbye kiss. Bad review for him. Yun Chujio first looked at the little black bird in the spirit beast pouch. The little black bird could be considered a blessing in disguise. Since it helped Yun Chujo resist the heavenly thunder, it actually went into hibernation again. When this hibernation ended, it would definitely advance again. Yun Chujo thought of the trial that was about to begin and felt that she should prepare for it. Hence, the big kitchen and the spirit herb garden suffered a huge loss. Yun Chujo first went to the kitchen to search for a lot of food, and then she took a few packets of chili powder, pepper, salt, and the likes. It was different from the previous borrowing. This time, she wanted it openly. Elder Huang was very satisfied with Yun Chujo by then, so he naturally would not be reluctant to give up those little things and let Yun Chujo choose what she needed herself. After Yun Chujo packed the things, she ran to the spirit herb garden again and planned to gather the wool. Coincidentally, Elder Chi was in seclusion to refine pills. Yun Chujo was overjoyed. Haha, the heavens are really helping me. Since the trial would take a month, even if Elder Chi came out and found out that I borrowed medicinal herbs and wanted to punish me, there was nothing he could do. Moreover, when that time comes, it'll be little ancestor Yun, and he won't dare to do anything to me. Hence, this would be considered an important event for her. After filling up 5 sacks of spirit herbs, she valiantly entered the alchemy room. Manager Gao, hurry up and open an alchemy room for me. I want to refine pills. Manager Gao saw that Yun Chujo had come again, so he could only give the jade token of alchemy room number 28 to her with a bitter face. Don't worry. Didn't I not release any poisonous fumes last time? I won't do it this time either. Don't be afraid. Yun Chujo smiled mischievously as she took the jade token and walked away. Manager Gao looked at Yun Chujo's bouncing silhouette and sighed. It turned out that this person could choke them to such an extent even without spiritual power. Now that she had spiritual power, she might not be able to produce an array of terrifying poisonous smoke. It was better for him to inform everyone. Manager Gao told them that Yun Chujo was there to refine pills again. An outer court disciple said, "That's not right. Isn't the new disciple trial tomorrow? Why did Yun Chujo come here to refine pills? Could it be that she doesn't want to participate in the trial anymore?" Although she can cultivate now, she's only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Compared to others, she's still a piece of cake. She probably knew that she would be at the bottom even if she went, so she begged the higher-ups not to go. Perhaps it was Elder Chi who helped to plead for her. What you said makes sense. Elder Chi thinks highly of Yun Chujo. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked her to help take care of the spirit herb garden. Even senior brother Ding Lang isn't allowed to enter the garden. Ding Lang's face immediately darkened. It turned out that Yun Chujo did not have any spiritual power, and yet his master thought so highly of her. Now that she had spiritual power, would she not be even more favored? Perhaps his master would take her in as a successor disciple. This damned girl should not stay. He must get rid of her once there was a chance. Time flew by, and soon it was 2 o'clock on the 2nd day. Many people had already gathered on the southern Jade Square. The vast majority of them were new outer sect disciples and odd job workers. Master Xianyuan spoke as usual and announced that Elder Xiao and Elder Chu would be in charge of leading the team for this trial. Then, he let everyone board the airship and head to the trial grounds. Just as everyone had boarded the airship and was about to set off, a chopping board flew over from the sky. On it stood a little girl who was desperately waving the scarlet silk in her hand. Wait. Wait for me. I'm coming. Chapter 285, Don't be an eyesore. The corners of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched. Wasn't this little girl taking care of her benefactor? Why did she come to participate in the trial? The hearts of the 5 peak masters and elders also sank. They originally thought that Yun Chujo would not participate in the trial and did not expect to be present. Although she was only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, that chain of lightning strikes was not something an ordinary person could withstand. If she really got into the top 10, Spirit Radiance sect would have an astonishingly senior little ancestor. After Yun Chuzhou landed, she headed straight for the flying airship. As she ran, she said, "Oh my God, it's alright, it's alright. I almost couldn't make it in time. If I wasn't in this trial, how regretful would you all be?" Everyone's faces were filled with confusion. "Yun Chuzhou, can you save some honor for yourself? You're taking yourself too seriously. There wouldn't be a difference if you were around or not, alright? You're just a small fry at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Even if you try, you'll still end up at the bottom." Elder Shao said in a deep voice, "Don't waste your breath. Hurry up and board the ship." Yun Chuzhou secretly pursed her lips. This Elder Shao definitely did not agree with her. She reckoned that the trashy Bai siblings had often spoken ill of her in front of him. Coincidentally, after Yun Chuzhou boarded the spaceship, the first thing she saw was the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan. Yun Chuzhou was slightly stunned. How did their spiritual power increase so quickly? Bai Moyu was already at level 7 of spirit enhancement, and Bai Moru and Yun Chushan had also reached level 6 of spirit enhancement. "Little sister Jiu, you can also cultivate? That's great. The family head has always had high hopes for you. This time, he must be very pleased." Yun Chushan said softly, as if the unpleasant things from before had never happened. Yun Chuzhou rolled her eyes. "Get out of my way. Fake White Lotus, 1. Yun Chushan had never expected Yun Chuzhou to embarrass her in front of so many people. Her eyes were slightly red, and she seemed to be suppressing her sadness as she said, "Little sister Jiu, I was kind enough to congratulate you, but you actually said that to me. It really makes me sad." When Yun Chushan's admirers saw the beauty crying, they immediately glared at Yun Chuzhou. It seemed that if it were not for the elders present, they would have rolled up their sleeves and beat Yun Chuzhou up. "Are you sad? Then get lost and be sad. Don't be an eyesore in front of me." Yun Chuzhou was now a free serf who could voice her opinions. Naturally, she would not swallow her anger and would do whatever she pleased. Yun Chushan was stunned for a moment, then she covered her face and ran away. A few of her admirers glared at Yun Chuzhou and followed her. Bai Moru wanted to say something but was stopped by Bai Moya's gaze. The two of them quietly left. Oh, those two scumbags were quite tolerant. They must be brewing some cunning ideas. However, it was fine if they did not provoke her. If they dared to provoke her, they would not be spared. Yun Chuzhou jumped in front of Yun Chuzi and the others and said with a grin, "Brothers and sisters, long time no see. Did you miss me?" The corners of Yun Chuzi and the others' mouths twitched. They had just met in the big kitchen yesterday, right? Where did the long time come from? Originally, when they saw that Yun Chuzhou had not arrived for a long time, the few of them had been extremely worried. Now that they saw Yun Chuzhou alive and kicking, they finally felt at ease. The 7 of them found a corner and sat down. It was said that the place they were going to for this trial was an ancient mystic realm, and it was not close to Spirit Radiance sect. They would probably only arrive tomorrow morning. When it was time for lunch, Yun Chuzhou took out a table from her storage ring. There was a sumptuous meal on it, and the 7 of them began to eat happily. Everyone ate their buns dryly and looked at Yun Chuzhou and the others with envy and jealousy. Chapter 286. What kind of precious object was that everyone stared at Yun Chuzhou and the others who were eating so sweetly? Who the hell came out to train and even brought a banquet? What a foodie. Some people looked at Yun Chuzhou's storage ring. The storage ring was expensive and was not something that ordinary people could afford. They did not know where Yun Chuzhou got a storage ring from. It was probably given to her by Elder Qi. She was really lucky. Yun Chuzhou was very shrewd. When she saw that Elder Shao and the other elders had not eaten yet, she ran over eagerly. "Elders, you haven't eaten yet, right? I've prepared a feast for you, please accept it." Although the elders did not care about their appetites, food that looked good, was fragrant, and tasty was naturally much better than having fasting pills. Therefore, their attitude toward Yunchujiu turned as warm as spring. The people who were eating the steamed buns secretly cursed Yunchujiu for being shameless. Then, they secretly made up their minds. In the future, they would work hard to earn money. If they could not afford a storage ring, it would be good to buy a few more storage bags. Otherwise, they would only be able to store steamed buns. After Yunchujiu was done with being hospitable, she returned to her seat and continued eating. The next morning, everyone arrived at the trial ground. Everyone got off the airship and was stunned. Did they not say that the trial ground was an ancient mystic realm? This place was bare. No need to even mention an ancient mystic realm, there was not even a strand of hair. Elder Chu saw everyone's confusion and could not help but twitch his lips. What a bunch of small fry. Well, that Yunchujiu barely even counts. Elder Chu and Elder Shao joined hands to form a seal and threw out a shiny object. Yunchujiu's eyes immediately began to glow with blue light. It was a treasure. What kind of precious object was that? Yunchujiu focused her gaze and immediately felt deflated. It turned out to be just a fragment of a mirror. After Elder Chu and Elder Shao's hand seals landed on the mirror fragment, the scene before everyone's eyes changed. A huge mountain gate appeared in front of everyone. Although it was dilapidated, the faint prehistoric aura it exuded made people involuntarily want to kneel down and worship it. The pillars of the mountain gate were carved with ancient and complicated patterns. Some curious disciples stared at it for a while and immediately felt dizzy. They hurriedly lowered their heads and did not dare to look at it again. It was as if taking a glance at it was a blasphemy to this ancient relic. The trial will last for a month. The final result will be calculated based on the demonic beast inner core and spiritual pill that you've obtained. Later on, each of you will be given a jade token. If you encounter danger and want to voluntarily give up, you only need to crush the jade token and you'll be teleported out. When the trial's deadline is up, you'll be teleported out. Now, enter the grounds. Elder Shao said in a deep voice. Just as the people of Spirit Radiance sect were about to enter the trial grounds, a huge airship flew over from the sky. Those with sharp eyes immediately recognized it. It's the spaceship of the Heavenly Gates sect. Don't tell me they're also here to train. After the airship landed, a few people who looked like elders walked out first, followed by some disciples, odd job workers, and so on. Walking in front of the group of disciples was a beautiful and refined woman with a cold and arrogant face. However, she looked at Yunchujiu as if she had been poisoned. It was Su Yanran. When the Bai siblings saw Su Yanran, their eyes revealed a strange joy. Yunchujiu, you're dead meat this time. Elder Shao and the others were very surprised. Over the years, although the four great sects did not have an explicit agreement, they had tacitly avoided the time of the other sects' trial. What did the Heavenly Gates sect meant with this? Ha! Everyone, please. I didn't expect that the trial for the new disciples of our two sects would actually be held on the same day. What a coincidence. An old man with a hooked nose cupped his hands at Elder Chu and the others. Although Elder Shao and the others were bewildered, they were still chatting happily with the elders of the Heavenly Gates sect. After chatting for a while, they reverted to the main topic. Elder Zhang, the leader of the Heavenly Gates sect, said with a fake smile, "Everyone, our two sects are fated. Since we've met, why don't we make a bet?" Make a bet? Elder Shao thought to himself, it seems that the Heavenly Gates sect had lost their honor last time, so this time, they're looking for trouble. Chapter 287, This fellow does not want to enter anymore, it's very simple. Well, just bet on which of our two sects will have the highest points in the end. As for the stakes, 1,000,000 low-grade spirit stones shouldn't be much. It's just to add to the fun. Elder Zhang said, but a trace of cunningness flashed in his eyes. Elder Shao and Elder Chu exchanged glances. They had been forced to this point, so they naturally had to agree. Otherwise, they would think that Spirit Radiance sect was afraid of the Heavenly Gates sect. Alright. It's a deal. Then let's have your sect take out the void mirror fragment as well. Let the disciples enter. Elder Shao said in a deep voice. Elder Zhang nodded. Then, he and Elder Zheng from the Heavenly Gates sect formed a seal at the same time. Then, they threw out a mirror fragment as well, and it floated in the air together with Spirit Radiance sect's mirror fragment. Elder Zhang and the disciples of the Heavenly Gates sect exchanged a few words. The gist was similar to what Elder Shao had said. After the disciples of the two sects received the teleportation jade token, they disappeared after entering the mountain gate. They had already been randomly teleported to different areas. Yun Chuzhou had secretly planned to go in hand with Yun Chuzi and the others, so that they could stay together. The more people there were, the greater the strength. Even if they encountered powerful demonic beasts, they would not be afraid. Moreover, when they rested at night, they could take turns to be on guard, which was beneficial to the preservation of their physical strength. Yun Chuzhou did not expect that this mysterious ancient land to have so many restrictions. For example, only those who were refining could enter, and that they would be teleported randomly, or that they were forbidden to fly or use any talismans in there. Yun Chuzhou could only secretly give each of them a few porcelain bottles. Then, she said, there are hemostatic pills, fasting pills, and a few bottles of poisons with different effects. Keep them well. Remember, one must guard against others. Don't meddle in other people's business. Nothing is more important than one's life. When the situation gets bad, run away. If you really can't do it, break the jade token. Do you hear me? Although Yun Chuzi and the others were older than Yun Chuzhou, they all felt that they did not have as many ideas as her. They all listened carefully and expressed that they would definitely do as Yun Chuzhou said. Yun Chuzhou mumbled to herself and instructed them on some other matters before she followed everyone into the mountain gate. A dazzling white light flashed, and with a bang, Yun Chuzhou was thrown to the ground. Huh? Why did the place she teleported to look so familiar? Yun Chuzhou rubbed her sore buttocks that were about to break into pieces. She stood up to take a look. Fuck, why was she not teleported in but bounced back instead? The elders of Spirit Radiance sect and the Heavenly Gates sect were also dumbfounded. What was going on? For thousands of years, they had never heard of any disciple being bounced back. Even the disciples who did not meet the conditions only had jade tokens that did not react. Why was this little girl bounced back? Yun Chuzhou laughed dryly. I reckon that the mystic realm took a nap just now. I'll try again. Yun Chuzhou carefully walked into the mountain gate again. Then, a white light flashed, and the miserable Yun Chuzhou was once again thrown to the ground. Fuck. Are you done fooling around? I can forgive you for being careless after falling once. But you've done it again and again. Do you think I want to go in? Fuck, I'm not going in anymore. Yun Chuzhou pointed at the mountain gate and cursed. Everyone was stunned. From ancient times until now, no one had heard of anyone sitting on the ground, pointing at the ancient realm and cursing. Moreover, this matter was too strange. Why did the mystery realm want to bounce this little girl out? The elders of the Spirit Radiance sect thought of a question at the same time. Could it be that Yun Chuzhou was rejected by the ancient realm because she had a heavenly thunder root spirit and was not tolerated by the heavens? While everyone was still in a daze, a dazzling white light flashed. Yun Chuzhou, who was on the ground, was sucked into the mountain gate by a suction and disappeared without a trace. Chapter 288, Yun Chuzhou, who had nothing left to live for the elders of Spirit Radiance sect, tensed up. How did Yun Chuzhou get sucked in again? Could it be that this ancient mystical realm wanted to take revenge on Yun Chuzhou? This ancient mystical realm had existed for tens of thousands of years, so it was inevitable that it would produce a weapon spirit existence. If it wanted to take revenge on Yun Chuzhou, it was likely that Yun Chuzhou would be doomed. Could it be that even the teleportation jade token would lose its effect? The more the people from Spirit Radiance sect thought about it, the more they felt that things were not looking good. Although they did not want Yun Chujo to become some little ancestor Yun Chujo has the rare heavenly thunder root spirit. Was she going to die just like that? Although the people from the Heavenly Gates sect were also a little surprised, this matter had nothing to do with them. They just treated it as a pastime and put it aside after a short discussion. Elder Zhang's eyes revealed a trace of viciousness. Yun Chujo, you better pray that you don't run into people from the Heaven Gates sect, or else your life will be taken. How dare you humiliate my grandson? How audacious! The grandson of Elder Zhang was Zhang Xiong, who was forced by Yun Chujo to write a confession at Middle Peak's cafeteria previously. After Zhang Xiong went back, he told Elder Zhang everything that happened. When Elder Zhang came, he had already given an order to the people of Heavenly Gates sect. After entering the mystic realm, if they encountered Yun Chujo, she should be killed without mercy. As for the other members of Spirit Radiance sect, they would snatch the pills and demonic beast cores that they had gathered. If the opportunity was right, they could kill them. The prerequisite was that they could not be seen by others. Achoo! Achoo! Which bastard is scolding me? Yun Chujo, whose face was full of despair, sneezed twice. Why did she have nothing to live for? Yun Chujo felt that the place where she was teleported to was too much of a pain in the *SS. The place where Yun Chujo was teleported to was a desert that stretched as far as the eye could see. Although it was not noon yet, the sunlight was scorching and it felt like fire burning on her face. The place where Yun Chujo fell should not be far from a water source because there were several huge cacti growing there, and Yun Chujo was directly teleported into the flower heart of a huge cactus. It was not that Yun Chujo had not considered jumping off it. Although the distance from the ground was very high, the ground was covered with sand, it would not hurt her if she fell. Sadly, there were more than 1,000 desert scorpions lying densely on the ground. These desert scorpions were Tier 3 demonic beasts. Each of them was more than 3 feet long. Their entire bodies were black, and their 2 pincers emitted a cold light. The stingers on their tails were even more terrifying. Yun Chujo felt her scalp go numb. If she were to jump down, she would be killed at any moment. Damn it! It was forbidden to fly there. Otherwise, she would be able to fly away on the chopping board. She was really worried to death. Crack! Rip! Yun Chujo sadly realized that because she sneezed twice, the stalk of the flower she was on was about to break. On the ground, the poisonous stingers on the tail of the desert scorpions stood up high and glared at Yun Chujo. They were just waiting for Yun Chujo to fall before they got to enjoy a delicious meal. The desert was already extremely hot to begin with, and Yun Chujo was sweating profusely. What should she do? What should she do? Should she crush the jade token? The little ancestor Yun title was not more important than her life. Crack! Crack! There was only a sliver of connection on the flower stalk left. The scorpions on the ground began to stir. They began to fight for the more advantageous position, preparing to snatch the fat meat in their mouths. Yun Chujo gritted her teeth. Forget it, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's more important to survive. Yun Chujo used force and crushed the jade token. Then. There was no fucking reaction at all. Chapter 289, Delicious Cactus Fruit, Damn. Why isn't there any reaction? Could it be that she was given a defective product? Yun Chujo almost choked. Which bastard was sabotaging her? He actually gave her a useless jade token. When I get out, I will not let him off. However, it was not the time to be angry. It was better to think about what to do. Crack, crack. The flower was on the verge of breaking. At that moment, Yun Chujo was extremely thankful for her small, dry body. Otherwise, she would have fallen off if it had been more plump. What should she do? The chopping board could not be used. The concealment talisman given to her by the gigolo could not be used either. The defensive spirit tool could be used, but there were so many desert scorpions there. She was afraid that she would not be able to last until the end. She did not expect that such a beautiful genius like her would actually die there. This was really unreasonable. Yun Chuzhou used her spiritual sense to rummage through her storage ring. Her eyes lit up when she saw the scarlet silk. Yun Chuzhou tied a knot on the top of the scarlet silk. Then, she threw it onto the branch of the nearest cactus, pulled it tightly, and swung it over. The moment Yun Chuzhou left the flower, the stalk of the flower broke completely and fell into the group of scorpions. The scorpions did not reject it and ate the flower. Yun Chuzhou could not help but wonder why these scorpions did not eat the cactus. Just as Yun Chuzhou was distracted, a few giant thorns on the cactus actually separated from its original body and shot toward Yun Chuzhou. Fortunately, Yun Chuzhou had a defensive spirit tool on her body, which formed a spiritual energy barrier to block the giant thorns. Otherwise, she would have been pierced into a sieve. Yun Chuzhou finally understood why those scorpions did not eat the cactus. It turned out that when these cactuses were attacked, they would use the thorns to attack the enemy. Fortunately, she was teleported into the flower's heart. If she were to crash into the cactus. Yun Chuzhou convinced herself that the scene was too beautiful, so it was better not to think about it. She carefully found a flower that looked relatively sturdy and sat inside the flower's heart. For the time being, her life was no longer in danger. Yun Chuzhou was drooling over the cactus fruit next to her. Although the cactus flowers were huge, the fruit was only the size of 2 adult fists. It was red and emitted a sweet fragrance. However, there were also some tiny thorns on the fruits. They were probably used for defense. Yun Chuzhou threw the scarlet silk at the nearest fruit. As expected, the little thorns on the fruit shot toward the scarlet silk. Yun Chuzhou deliberately waited for a while until the thorns on the fruit were gone, only then did she put away the scarlet silk. Yun Chuzhou looked at the fruit carefully. It was quite similar to the fire dragon fruit, but she was not sure if it tasted good or not. Since there was a strange grass in her dantian, she was not afraid of being poisoned to death. She peeled off the skin of the fruit and casually threw it on the ground. Then, she took a small bite. It's delicious. Too delicious. It's soft, sweet, and juicy. Yun Chuzhou began to eat like a wolf. After finishing her food, she was still not satisfied, so she brought back all the fruits that she could get from the surroundings and started to eat them happily. Yun Chuzhou could not eat anymore, so she put the rest into her storage ring. After eating and drinking her fill, Yun Chuzhou started to worry. Staying in this flower heart was not a long-term solution. The flowers on this cactus might wither the next day. What should she do then? These damn scorpions would not be watching her all the time, would they? She was so skinny that she did not even have a couple tails of meat. Why would so many of them be watching her? Just as Yun Chuzhou was frowning, she suddenly heard a commotion on the ground. Yun Chuzhou stretched her neck and looked down curiously. Then, she was shocked. Chapter 290, Natural Foodies Must Be Useful Fuck. What was going on? Yun Chuzhou noticed that the desert scorpions on the ground were starting to fight among themselves. Dozens of scorpions attacked their own kind as if they had gone crazy, and then began to fight among themselves. Yun Chuzhou touched her chin and thought to herself, could it be that these scorpions had gone crazy? The dozens of scorpions were quickly bitten to death by their own kind, and the victorious scorpions began to eat the corpses. A dramatic scene ensued. The scorpions that ate the corpses also began to become restless. Although they were not as crazy as the dozens of scorpions before, they were clearly becoming restless. Soon, a chaotic battle broke out again. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. Why did the symptoms of these scorpions seem like they had rabies? It seemed to be some kind of poison, but after the second infection, it was starting to weaken. Yun Chujia's eyes suddenly lit up. Could it be because they ate the skin of the cactus fruit that she threw at them? In order to verify her theory, Yun Chujio took out a cactus fruit from her storage ring, peeled off the skin, and threw it on the ground. A few scorpions quickly ate the skin. After a while, the few scorpions began to bite their own kind crazily. Yun Chujio could not help but laugh at the sky. Ha ha ha. A natural foodie must be useful. If it weren't for my greed, how could I have found such an interesting thing? After they kill each other, I only need to pick up their demon cores. Let me do the math, she counted with her fingers. Desert scorpions were a tier 3 demon beast. A demon core cost 100 points. There were more than 1,000 of them here. It was not impossible for her to get 100,000 points. Yun Chujio did not have a choice. She quickly peeled off the remaining cactus fruits and threw them on the ground. Then, she watched the desert scorpions continuously attack each other. She was shouting and cheering from above. Go! Bite it to death! Idiot! Bite it! Use your pincers to clamp it! You little cripple! Charge! Sacrifice yourself for little happy me. These desert scorpions already had some intelligence. Perhaps they felt that something was wrong. The hundreds of scorpions on the outside quickly ran away. Yun Chujio groaned in pain. Don't run. Keep fighting. Seriously. Tens of thousands of points are gone just like that. Yun Chujio waited for a while. After making sure that the scorpions had really run far away, she jumped down from the flower and landed on the sand. Yun Chujio looked at the few cactuses beside her, then picked up a scorpion's corpse and threw it at one of the cactuses. The huge thorns on the cactuses instantly turned the scorpions into hedgehogs. Yun Chujio relied on the spirit weapon to protect herself and kept throwing the scorpions' corpses on the ground at the cactuses. Soon, the thorns on the cactuses were all shot out. Yun Chujio did the same thing, removing the thorns on the other cactuses. Then, she started to use the silk to remove the cactus fruits and put them in her storage ring happily. This thing was not only delicious, but also a must-have for pit beasts. She had to get more. After picking all the fruits, she felt that these cactuses might be beneficial, so she took out a big kitchen knife and cut off one of them with great strength and put it in her storage ring. Yun Chujio took out the demon cores from the desert scorpions and put them away. Then, she hopped toward the east. Why did she head east? Because the scorpions had escaped to the west, so she naturally had to go in the opposite direction. However, she overlooked something. Perhaps the scorpions were afraid of something in the east, so they fled to the west. Chapter 291, A tough nut to crack. At first, Yun Chujio was still hopping around. Then, she started walking faster, and then slowed down, before finally quickened her pace again. Damn it! Is there no end to this lousy desert? I'm so tired. Rolling pin, can't you install 2 wheels under the chopping board and become multifunctional? The rolling pin's heart was on the verge of collapse. Master, I'm a pin. A pin. The fact that I can turn into a chopping board was already very abnormal, okay? Now you want me to have wheels. This is simply a tough nut to crack. If I knew this would happen, I would have kept a scorpion. I pulled out its stinger, cut off its pincers, and mount it. What a mistake. Fortunately, I have enough food and water. I can last for a month at most. When the time is up, I will naturally be teleported out. After Yun Chujio mentally adjusted herself and continued to move forward slowly. At noon, the sun was even hotter. Yun Chujio was afraid that her skin would turn tan again, so she wrapped herself tightly and made a simple parasol before continuing to move forward. Finally, Yun Chujio saw a patch of green in front of her. Could it be a desert oasis? Yun Chujio was suddenly energized. She did not care about the parasol and ran quickly. After a while, Yunchujo ran back quickly and shouted as she ran, "Fuck! Didn't they say that the highest level demon beast here is a tier 4 demon beast? Why is there a tier 8 single-horned demon lizard?" A large amount of sand and dust rose behind Yunchujo as a huge green single-horned demon lizard crawled over. Yunchujo wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Tier 8. That was equivalent to the 9th level of the Spirit Cultivator realm. Back then, although those mighty elephants were fooled by her, that was because they were afraid of the almighty experts and Spirit Radiance Sex Array formation. This single-horned demon lizard did not have any worries. No wonder that group of damned desert scorpions did not flee this way. It turned out that there was such a great demon beast here. Who the fuck would dare to come? Throwing the cactus fruit? What kind of joke was that? Even if the one-horned demon lizard did not go crazy, it was already so terrifying. If it went crazy, would it not go absolutely berserk? Yunchujo was already exhausted to begin with, so the single-horned demon lizard caught up with her effortlessly. It extended its long tongue toward Yunchujo. She dodged to the side. Yunchujo knew that she would not be able to outrun the single-horned demon lizard, so she could only stop and take out the rolling pin to fight it. Keep your tongue. Listen to me first. You can eat me later. Yunchujo looked at the single-horned demon lizard's long tongue and could not help but get goosebumps all over her body. The single-horned demon lizard was stunned. It did not expect that this little human girl would not run away. Although it could not speak human language, it could still understand it. We don't have any grudges with each other, right? I didn't steal your beauty nor kill your child, right? Yunchujo asked seriously. The single-horned demon lizard did not know what Yunchujo meant with that question, so it nodded its huge head. So, you and I have no grudges. Why do you have to eat me then? Yunchujo said innocently. The single-horned demon lizard looked at Yunchujo with disdain. It obviously thought that Yunchujo was asking nonsense. The strong preyed on the weak. What kind of reason did she need? Look, my body is skinny, and I don't have much meat. How about this? I have the demon cores of the desert scorpion in my storage ring. Isn't that thing more delicious than my meat? I'll give you a dozen of them. Let me go. Yunchujo took out a handful of desert scorpion's demon cores from her storage ring, as she said pitifully. Chapter 292, Can't Ever Get Married. The single-horned demon lizard's huge eyes flashed with a trace of cunningness, and then it nodded. Yunchujo threw the desert scorpion's demon core in her hand and then quickly ran forward. The single-horned demon lizard's tongue nimbly flew up and down, catching all the demon cores that Yunchujo deliberately threw in all directions into its mouth. Then, with a strong push of its hind legs, it actually jumped up and landed in front of Yunchujo, blocking her. Damn it! She knew that the ugly reptile was greedy and shameless. Yunchujo showed an expression of deceive. Lord Lizard, you can't be like this. You've already eaten my demon cores. Why do you still want to eat me? You're not being honest. The single-horned devil lizard showed a contemptuous look. Not being honest? We can be honest after I eat you. The devil lizard stretched out its huge tongue and moved toward Yunchujo. Yunchujo continued to throw the desert scorpion's demon cores while hiding. Seeing that there were more demon cores to eat, the single-horned demon lizard immediately changed its target and started to eat the demon cores with its tongue. Yunchujo took the opportunity to turn around and run away. However, it was obvious that the struggle was futile. The single-horned demon lizard soon caught up with her again. Yunchujo had no choice but to throw more demon cores again. Just like that, Yunchujo saw that she had fed all of the demon cores from her storage ring to the one-horned demon lizard, yet she did not get far. The single-horned demon lizard caught up with the miserable girl once again. Seeing that Yunchujo did not throw more demon cores at it, the demon lizard knew that the girl did not have any more left. It opened its mouth wide and stretched out its tongue toward Yunchujo. Stop it. Keep your tongue. I have something to say. Besides, I can't escape from your tongue. Don't tell me you don't even dare to let me have a few words. Yun Chujo dodged the single-horned demon lizard's tongue in a fluster and said while panting. The single-horned demon lizard naturally did not care much about Yun Chujo, this insignificant dish. It retracted its tongue and stared at Yun Chujo with its huge eyes. Demon lizard, do you want to leave this arcane realm? I see that you're powerful. You're probably the most unique in this whole desert, right? Then we have a problem. You'll probably never find a suitable partner in your life. If you made yourself lesser just to find a lowly partner, it'll be unfair to your descendants. How about we make a deal? Don't kill me, and I'll take you out of the arcane realm to find you a beautiful lizard. The single-horned magic lizard was dumbfounded. What? What was this human girl talking about? Looking for a partner? A beautiful lizard? The single-horned magic lizard's face turned red. Up until then, it was still a virgin lizard. Damn it! This human girl must have said this on purpose to humiliate it. I won't let her off. The single-horned devil lizard flew into a rage out of humiliation. It stuck out its huge tongue and swept it toward Yun Chujo. Oh, males and females should be married. What's there to be shy about? Let me tell you. With your looks, you won't be able to get a wife for the rest of your life. The single-horned demon lizard was so angry that it felt like it was about to faint. This little girl had been trying to curry favor with it and beg for mercy. Why did she suddenly change the way she talked? It must consume her. Looking at your ugly appearance, I reckon that only a female toad would be interested in you. It's a pity that you don't have that species here, so you should just give up on that idea. The single-horned demon lizard wished it could swallow Yun Chujo in one go. However, although this little human girl's spiritual power was low, her movements were too damn agile. It could not catch her. Damn it! Yun Chujo secretly estimated the time in her heart and finally smiled. Ugly reptile, do you think I'm afraid of you? Take this. Little Geo Thunderbolt. Chapter 293, was really too much. The one-horned demon lizard was very disdainful. It did not even try to dodge. To it, an attack from a level 4 spirit enhancement cultivator was nothing more than a scratch. Not only did the demon lizard not dodge, it even stuck out its long tongue toward Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo waved her right hand, and a purple lightning bolt directly struck at the single-horned demon lizard's tongue. The single-horned demon lizard was stunned. Was that a thunderbolt? And it was purple. The single-horned demon lizard was too shocked. It was actually struck to a daze by the lightning. In an instant, black smoke rose from its tongue. The single-horned demon lizard cried out in pain. This time, it was completely enraged. Due to the injury to its tongue, the single-horned demon lizard used its tough tail to attack. Its huge tail slapped at Yun Chujo. She struck the single-horned demon lizard's tail with another bolt of lightning. Although it did not leave a hole, it still made the single-horned demon lizard grimace in pain. What was going on? A mere 4th-level spirit-enhanced lowlife could not only emit purple lightning, but it could also attack consecutively. Was this even human? Could it be a great demon that had transformed? Although the single-horned demon lizard was shocked, it was not afraid. After all, the difference in strength was there. My skin is rough and my flesh is thick. Even if I am tired, I will tire this little girl to death. However, the single-horned demon lizard began to realize that something was wrong. Why was its spiritual energy gradually disappearing? The single-horned demon lizard had an ominous premonition in its heart. Its movements became slower and slower. However, the little human girl was getting more and more addicted to hacking it with thunderbolts. The single-horned demon lizard's tail was already beginning to emit black smoke from all the hacking. Why aren't you showing off, ugly reptile? Why aren't you showing off? Didn't you want to eat me up? Do you think that I'm so easy to take advantage of? To tell you the truth, the first 2 batches of demon cores I gave you didn't have any added finesse, but I've added them to the rest. Yun Chuzhou said as she zapped it. The first 2 batches of demon cores that she gave to the single-horned demon lizard were fine, but the single-horned demon lizard was very proud of teasing Yun Chuzhou. It did not realize that the later batch of demon cores had been wrapped by Yun Chuzhou's spirit-devouring powder. Yun Chuzhou was rambling on and on just to let the medicinal effects take effect. How could this single-horned devil lizard be better than the mischievous Yun Chuzhou? The single-horned devil lizard's mood was crumbling. It was a tier 8 demonic beast. In this desert, it was the absolute king. It was actually cheated by a little human girl at level 4 of spirit enhancement. It had nowhere to put its old face. Where did this weirdo come from? Not only did she have the thunder root spirit, but she was also full of evil tricks. She truly was a trickster. The single-horned demon lizard only had the advantage in size now. It no longer had any desire to fight. It turned around and was about to run away. Hey! You ugly reptile, stop right there. You ate so many of my demon cores and now you want to run away. No way. Those are my points. Yun Chuzhou thought to herself. If she let this single-horned demon lizard go, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountains. Once it recovered its spiritual power, how would she survive? She had to kill it. Seeing that Yun Chuzhou was chasing after it, the single-horned demon lizard could only continue to fight with Yun Chuzhou fiercely. Although the demon lizard was huge, it had little spiritual power left. It was not a match for Yun Chuzhou, this perverted child. An hour later, the single-horned demon lizard was finally killed by Yun Chuzhou. She put the demon lizard's body into her storage ring and sat on the ground, panting heavily. This fierce battle was theoretically easy, but every step was extremely dangerous. If the single-horned demon lizard had not underestimated its opponent, she would not have had any chance of winning. Yun Chuzhou did not dare to stay any longer. After taking a short rest, she continued walking toward the east. Chapter 294, was about to die in the desert. Yun Chuzhou's physical strength was almost exhausted. She took out a spiritual fruit given to her by Di Biming from her storage ring. After eating it, her physical strength instantly recovered by half. Yun Chuzhou could not help but sigh. This fruit is really good. Next time I see the gigolo, I'll definitely ask for more. Although the gigolo is quite stingy sometimes, he seems to treat me well. Yun Chuzhou's thoughts started to wander. Speaking of that, the gigolo's figure is really good. When will my body be a little more curvaceous? Yun Chuzhou kept walking forward while her imagination ran wild. After about 2 hours, she finally saw green again. This time, she did not dare to act rashly. She carefully moved forward and then cheered, "Oasis. It's really an oasis this time." Yun Chuzhou ran over. When she got closer, it was really a small desert oasis. Yun Chuzhou deliberately checked it, but there was not a single demon beast. Yun Chuzhou rolled her eyes and got an idea. The area was probably the single-horned demon lizard's territory, so the demon beasts naturally did not dare to get close. There were more than 100 sand dune willow growing on this small oasis. In the middle of the willow forest was a pool of clear spring water. The most amazing thing was that in such a hot desert, the spring water was actually cold. Just as Yun Chuzhou was about to wash her face, the strange grass in her dantian began to become restless again, clamoring for Yun Chuzhou to drink water. Yun Chuzhou was just thirsty, so she squatted down and began to drink water. However, she never expected that after she had enough, she could not control herself anymore when she wanted to get up. Yun Chuzhou kept drinking the water in the pool. She could not even close her mouth, let alone get up. "Bastard! Are you trying to rebel? Stop right now." Not only did the strange grass not stop, he even proudly twisted his body toward Yun Chuzhou. Just you wait. The moment I leave the mystic realm, I will cut your abdomen. I must get rid of you. You evil spirit. The strange grass, which was of the green foxtail species, paused for a moment, then ingratiatingly formed two of the leaves into the shape of a heart. Fuck. You've learned how to act cute. It's useless. Just stop. Are you trying to stuff me to death? If I die, you won't live either. You're courting death. Obedient grass, as long as you stop, I'll immediately feed you a basin of pills, okay? Unfortunately, no matter how Yun Chujio threatened and lured it, the strange grass seemed to have made up its mind. It kept controlling Yun Chujio's body to drink the spring water in the pond. Yun Chujio wanted to cry, but she had no tears. If others found out that she was actually stuffed to death by the water, they would laugh their heads off. The most shocking thing was that she was also stuffed to death by the water in the desert. It was too weird, was it not? Yun Chujio was at her wit's end. She felt like an old cow, constantly drinking the pond water. She cursed in her heart. This pond might not look big, but there must be a spring under it. How could she finish drinking it? She did not know what was wrong with the green foxtail in her dantian. Time passed and the sky gradually darkened. The temperature dropped sharply. Although Yun Chujio lost control of her body, she still had her senses. She cursed the strange grass over 10,000 times with her spiritual sense. Although it acted cute and shameless from time to time, its attitude was extremely firm. It was to drink, drink, drink. Yun Chujio could not help but think. People said that the Prime Minister could hold a ship in his stomach, but her stomach could even hold an aircraft carrier. Unfortunately, these willows aren't dead, or else, Yun Chujio stopped abruptly. It was only now that she realized that the willow forest, which was full of vitality before, had become dry with withered branches. What was going on? Yun Chujio inexplicably thought of the aquatic plant that was eaten by the strange grass. Could it be that the water in the pond was the willow's fluids? Were the aquatic plants supposed by the willows? Or were the willows the aquatic plant's food? Yun Chujio shivered. Why did she feel like she was in the same situation as the willows? Would she end up like them if the strange grass in her dantian was taken away? Chapter 296, Strange Grass Acting Cute. Yun Chujio felt that the strange grass in her dantian was like a ticking time bomb. Sooner or later, it would kill her. If she did not get it out, sooner or later, she would become its nourishment. However, if she got rid of it, perhaps she would become a mummy. It was a dead end no matter how she thought about it. Even the gigolo could not find the origin of this strange grass. Could it be that she could only wait for death? Fortunately, Yun Chujio was an optimistic and open-minded person. After a moment of melancholy, she pulled herself together. Damn it! Even the heavenly lightning can't kill me. I'm not afraid of some grass. There will always be a way. Just as Yun Chujio was cheering herself up, her stomach began to growl. Yun Chujio was laughing to herself. Damn it! She had drunk so much water, yet she was still hungry. Where did all the water go? Yun Chujio took out a large kitchen knife and cut some dried willows. She lit a bonfire, and it was finally warmer. Then, she took out a table from her storage ring, placed the food on the table, and started to eat. After eating and drinking, Yun Chujio cut a few dried branches to build a simple tent. Then, she put the rolling pin on top of the tent. Stay alert at the top of the tent, little flame. Call me if there's any movement. Yun Chujio stuffed a few thick branches into the bonfire. Then, she put down a few thick blankets inside the tent and laid down. Although she lit a bonfire and covered herself with a few layers of blankets, Yun Chujio still felt chilly. Sigh, the gigolo's clothes were turned to dust by the lightning last time. I'll have to ask him for 2 more sets of clothes another day. Those clothes are cool and insulated. They're much better than the ones I'm wearing. Ah, just mentioning the lightning makes my nose bleed. Sooner or later, I'll have to find a way to get rid of the strange grass. Otherwise, if I choke on my butt, won't those coquettish bitches benefit? Yun Chujia's imagination ran wild for a while before she finally fell into a deep sleep. As the single-horned demon lizard was very powerful, no demon beasts dared to step into the area. Therefore, Yun Chujio slept very peacefully that night. The next morning, Yun Chujio was woken up by the heat. The desert's climate was so strange. It was so cold at night, and so hot during the day. Yun Chujio could not help but sigh. The heat was even worse than the cold. If it was cold, she could build a fire and wear more clothes. However, if it was hot, there was nothing she could do. Unless she brought a pool with her at all times. Huh? When she said that, Yun Chujia's eyes lit up. Green foxtail. You made a big mistake yesterday. Shouldn't you show some gratitude to me? Yun Chujio said sourly when she saw that the leaves of the plant became even greener after it chewed on the aquatic plant. The strange grass swayed like a happy little pug. Yun Chujio felt that this strange grass was quite cute sometimes. Humph. No. This was just its sugar-coated shell. Under the shell of the strange grass was a scorpion-like heart. She must be on high alert. It's useless for you to act cute. Do something practical. It's so hot in the desert during the day. Bring out some of the water I drank yesterday and let me cool down. The strange grass curled up a few leaves and pressed them against the stem. It was as if someone was holding their chin in deep thought. Then, a shiny thing rolled down from one of the leaves. Yun Chujio felt a cool sensation on her body. She looked down and saw a small crystal bead in her palm. It was emitting cool air. Chapter 297, The Silver Desert Wolf. Humph. You know your place. Yun Chujio satisfyingly put the small bead in her pocket. After breakfast, she put out the bonfire completely and kept the simple tent in her storage ring. She thought for a while. The desert was so cold at night that she did not know if she would be able to walk outside if she needed to. It was better for her to cut some branches and have them ready. Therefore, Yun Chujio picked up the large kitchen knife and started cutting. After a while, she felt that it was too inefficient, and in the end, she simply used lightning to strike them. She was quite greedy and proceeded to keep half of the willow forest in her storage ring before continuing to walk east. She had long forgotten about the fear from last night. She bounced forward and sang as she walked, "You're the wind, and I'm the sand. It is lingering and winding around the ends of the earth." When she reached a slope, she simply curled her body into a ball and rolled down happily. She was having lots of fun. This so-called ancient arcane realm is still quite fun. No wonder he was unwilling to let me in. Stingy. Yun Chujio muttered to herself. A certain realm spirit was mad. Yun Chujio, you weirdo. He could not even kill her by throwing her into the wild desert. If it was not against the rules, it would have directly teleported her to the thorn of the giant cactus. It had spent a lot of effort gathering thousands of desert scorpions to besiege her, but who would have thought that those idiots would actually kill themselves? It was simply anger to no end. The fruit of the giant cactus was extremely poisonous and could make people or demon beasts go crazy. How could Yun Chujio eat so much and still be completely fine? Furthermore, the one-horned demon lizard was a tier 8 demon beast. It was actually played to death by that little weirdo. Was that not too weird? What made the realm spirit the angriest was that she actually ate that thing. She ate it. Such a heaven-defying little weirdo should not exist. This was against the law of heavens. It did not believe that it would not be able to kill her in its territory. Yun Chujio, just you wait. While Yun Chujio was jumping around happily, she suddenly sneezed twice. Damn it. Who's scolding me again? Speaking of which, why is this damn desert so big? When can I walk out of it? I won't be spending the whole month in the desert, right? Yun Chujo walked for a whole day. Other than the endless yellow sand, she did not meet a single soul. At night, Yun Chujo lit a bonfire. She was extremely glad that she had cut down a bunch of dried willow branches. Otherwise, she would have been frozen at night. When she slept until midnight, the rolling pin cried out in alarm, "Master! Master! Quickly get up! The situation isn't good." Yun Chujo jumped up and rushed outside the tent. She saw dust clouds rolling in the distance. It seemed that a large group of demon beasts was rushing over. Yun Chujo put away her tent and quickly ran away. My goodness, there are so many demonic beasts. Even if there were 10 of them, they would not be enough to satisfy her. Although Yun Chujia's body was light, she was in the desert after all, so she could not run fast at all. Soon, those demonic beasts caught up. Those demonic beasts worked well together. Some of them deliberately took a long route and arrived in front of Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo was trapped in the middle of these demonic beasts. Only then did Yun Chujo carefully examine those demonic beasts. It turned out to be dozens of silver desert wolves. They were tier 5 demonic beasts and were very fierce. Yun Chujo thought to herself, this silver desert wolf is very beautiful. Did it have tall silver fur? Yun Chujo was so stupid that the rolling pin was about to cry. Please, they want to eat you. You actually have the time to admire their appearance. Are you stupid? Chapter 298. Looking at airships, those silver desert wolves did not attack rashly. One of them, who was larger than the others and presumably the king, walked to the front. It howled fiercely at Yun Chujo. The other silver wolves followed suit. The earth-shattering howls were especially horrifying in the night. The faint-hearted would probably be scared to death. However, it was clear that Yun Chujo was not a timid person. She took out a thick dried willow branch from her storage ring and threw it on the ground. The Wolf King did not know what Yun Chujo meant to do and took a few steps back. Yun Chujo waved her right hand and a purple lightning bolt struck the dried willow branch. The thick dried willow branch was instantly split into two and black smoke rose up. The silver wolf pack was in an uproar. Demonic beasts were instinctively afraid of heavenly lightning. On top of that, Yun Chujo used a purple lightning bolt. The Wolf King howled a few times before the wolf pack quieted down. Its eyes flickered, obviously thinking of something. Yun Chujia's mind was not idle either. She kept thinking of countermeasures. Although she could temporarily suppress these silver desert wolves, she was outnumbered. Once they rushed up to her, she would not be able to hold them off. Yun Chujo observed for a moment. There were about a dozen silver desert wolves to the east. If she caught them off guard, she could run away. However, her speed was too slow. If she did so, she would still be caught. It would be good if there was something that could hold them off. If she threw out the body of the single-horned demon lizard, she might be able to delay them. However, she really could not bear to do so. She had not dug out the demon core of the single-horned demon lizard yet. That was a lot of points. Moreover, the body of a tier 8 demonic beast was also very expensive. It could be exchanged for a lot of spirit stones. She should have kept the bodies of the desert scorpions. In the future, one must learn from one's mistakes. One could not abandon anything at will. The rolling pin was on the verge of tears. This master was really willing to sacrifice her life and not her wealth. They were already in such a dire situation, yet she was still worried about some bullshit points. Yun Chujo used her spiritual sense to rummage through her storage ring. Finally, she found the corpses of more than 10 low-level demon beasts in a corner. Those were the windblade rabbits that Yun Chujo hunted in the mountains behind Spirit Radiance sect. They were supposed to be barbecued. Yun Chujo immediately had an idea. She pointed at the sky. Look! An airship. Airship? The wolf pack subconsciously raised their heads to look at the sky. Yun Chujo shot a bolt of lightning toward the silver wolves to her east. She did not strike the silver wolves with the lightning. Wolves were extremely vengeful animals. If they were hurt, they would definitely pursue her relentlessly. It was better not to make enemies. The few silver wolves on the east side subconsciously dodged. Yun Chujo immediately ran out. Yun Chujo threw away the rabbit corpses in her storage ring as she ran. Some of the silver wolves stopped to eat the corpses. The Wolf King howled a few times, leaving a few silver wolves to guard the corpses. It continued to chase after Yun Chujo with the rest of the pack. Yun Chujo could not help but curse in her heart. This Wolf King was really fucking smart. The speed of the wolf pack was extremely fast. Just as Yun Chujo was frowning, she realized that there was a sand slope in front of her. She quickly curled her body into a ball and rolled down. The Wolf King was stunned. Then, it took the lead to follow Yun Chujo's example and rolled down. The rest of the silver wolves followed suit and rolled down the sand slope. Yun Chujo was on the verge of breaking down. This Wolf King was about to succeed. Not long after, the wolf pack once again surrounded Yun Chujo in the middle. The Wolf King raised its head high, looking very proud. It howled a few times, and all the wolves dug their front paws into the ground, ready to attack. They were waiting for the Wolf King to give the order to pounce on Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo was about to sadly throw the demon lizard's corpse away. The Wolf King probably would not trust the other wolves to guard the Tier 8 demon beast's corpse, and she had some confidence in getting rid of the other wolves. At that moment, there was a commotion among the wolves. Chapter 299, Yun Chujo had a surgery. Yun Chujo stretched her neck to take a look. She saw a slightly smaller silver wolf lying on the ground and twitching in pain. Its belly bulged. It was actually a pregnant female wolf. The Wolf King let out a few anxious howls and gently nudged the female wolf's head with its head. The Wolf King was so nervous. It seemed that the female wolf was the queen of the wolf pack. The female wolf still did not get better and kept howling. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. The Wolf King had no time to even care about her then. If she did not run, when would she be able to? Just when Yun Chujo was about to run away, the Wolf King turned around and walked straight to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo was stunned. What did he mean by that? Did he not care about his wife anymore? The Wolf King howled at Yun Chujo and pointed at the twitching female wolf with his front paw. Yun Chujo immediately understood what it meant. She pointed at the female wolf and said, "You mean you want me to help you save the female wolf?" Although the Wolf King did not understand Yun Chujo's words, it still understood her body language and nodded. Oh heavens! She was not a veterinarian. How could she save it? The female wolf was probably having a difficult labor, right? Should she perform a cesarean section on it? Yun Chujo was quite bold. She actually walked to the female wolf's side, squatted down, and looked at it. Yun Chujo took out the large kitchen knife from her storage ring, and then gestured at the female wolf's stomach. Hey, I can only cut open her abdominals, take out the little wolf, and then sew it back together. Do you agree? The Wolf King had really figured Yun Chujo's intentions. It hesitated for a moment and then nodded. If a demonic beast had difficulty giving birth, there was a high chance that both mother and son would die in the end. Now, it could only trust this little human girl. Yun Chujo took out a wind-edge rabbit's corpse from her storage ring. She took out its intestines and washed it clean to make a meat thread. Then, she took out a needle and inserted the meat thread into the eye of the needle. Yun Chujo took out a few spirit-gathering pills and stuffed them into the female wolf's mouth to prevent the female wolf from losing its strength. Then, she fed the female wolf a few sleeping pills. After the female wolf fell asleep, she began to carry out the surgery with a large kitchen knife. Although Yun Chujo had never done any surgery before, she was still very familiar with the structure of demon beasts because she used to roast many demon beasts. The Wolf King stared at Yun Chujo without blinking. Could this little girl really do it? It had never heard of humans having such a method to deliver a baby. Perhaps their mystical realms were too closed off, and the new method that humans had developed might be able to do it. Yun Chujo easily cut open the female wolf's belly and cut a small hole in the female wolf's uterus. She gently took out the cub inside and cut the umbilical cord. Yun Chujo was afraid that the cub would freeze to death, so she made a quilt and wrapped the wolf cub in it. The Wolf King commanded a few female wolves to use their bodies to warm the wolf cub. Only then did Yun Chujo start to sew the female wolf's wound with the meat thread. Yun Chujo did not do any needlework at all, so the wound was crooked. Regardless, it was finally closed. Yun Chujo shattered the supreme grade blood clotting pill and sprinkled it on the wound. As expected of the supreme grade blood clotting pill, the female wolf's wound began to visibly heal. The Wolf King's eyes began to glow green. Well, it was originally glowing green already. How can humans have such a miraculous pill? How can it stop the bleeding so quickly? After a while, the female wolf woke up. Having taken the spirit-gathering pill previously, it was still in a pretty good mental state. Yun Chujo let out a long breath. The operation was considered a success. Yun Chujo stood up and was about to leave, and the Wolf King suddenly blocked her. Fuck. What did it mean? Could it be that this was going to be the story of the Wolf of Zhongsan? 1. Chapter 300, Mushroom Rings. The Wolf King howled a few times. Yun Chujo thought about it and finally understood what it meant. The Wolf King meant that it could escort her out of the desert, but it wanted the supreme-grade blood coagulation pills. Yun Chujo bargained with the Wolf King and finally settled on 2 bottles of supreme-grade blood coagulation pills. The Wolf King chose 8 strong silver wolves to escort Yun Chujo. She did not know what fear and shamelessness meant. After she left the Wolf King's sight, she would use a few supreme-grade blood coagulation pills as reward to get the silver wolves to take turns to be her mounts. She happily sat on the silver wolves' backs, humming a little tune as they traveled east. When a certain realm spirit saw this scene, it was so angry that it almost vomited blood. I asked you to eat Yun Chujo, not escort her and be her bodyguards. You actually became her freaking mount. How can you wolves be so cheap? You threw away your honor just for a couple pills. The realm spirit's energy bounced around wildly, and in the end, a sinister smile appeared on its face. This little girl has many tricks up her sleeve. It seems that the demonic beasts can't deal with her, so it'll let her own kind deal with her. Humph. Humans are the most greedy and shameless, and during these so-called trials, they kill each other over a few spirit herbs. Yes, those few people who have a different attire from Yun Chujius are vicious. They will do it. 2 days later, Yun Chujo finally arrived at the edge of the desert under the escort of the 8 silver wolves. Yun Chujo waved her small claws at the 8 silver wolves, then continued hopping and walking toward the east. There were some low shrubs growing sparsely at the edge of the desert. Occasionally, she could see some low-level demon beasts. Yun Chujo felt that from then on, her trial path would return to normal. However, she still felt that something was fishy. Did they not say that the highest level demon beast in this mystical realm was Tier 4? Why did she encounter a Tier 8 single-horned demon lizard, and then a group of Tier 5 silver desert wolves? Was it because she was unlucky or something? Humph. If she knew who was scheming behind her back, she would not let him off. A certain realm spirit sneezed twice and then continued scheming. After passing the edge of the desert, there was a vast grassland. Yun Chujo looked at the green and was in a good mood. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she ran toward a place. Mushroom Ring. Ha, I'm so lucky. I can use it to stew the remaining red-feathered chicken in my storage ring. Mushroom rings, as the name implied, were mysterious rings on the prairie. When one approached them, they would discover that they were formed by many delicious mushrooms. Seeing the white and tender mushrooms, Yun Chujo was so hungry that her saliva flowed out. She picked them in no time and put them into her storage ring. Yun Chujo was not in a hurry to start a fire to cook. Instead, she hastily ate a few buns and continued on her journey. She did not plan to spend the night in the prairie. If she encountered a demon beast at night, there would be nothing to hide in the prairie, so she was a little uncertain. When the sun was about to set, Yun Chujo finally walked out of the grassland and entered a valley. Yun Chujo climbed to the top of a big tree and looked at the surrounding terrain. She was very satisfied. There were trees, flowers, gurgling streams, and some low-level demon beasts. They set up camp here and did not go anywhere. She would just wait for the trial to end and be teleported out. Besides, with the single-horned demon lizard's demon core, she was most definitely guaranteed first place. Yun Chujo found a hidden cave. The most peculiar thing was that Yun Chujo found it behind the stone wall. It was probably created by the disciples from the previous trial. It was really a good place to plot against people. Chapter 301, Were These Humans Pigs? Yun Chujo tidied up a little and started making chicken stew with mushrooms. Soon, the fragrance filled the entire cave. The silver dragon floated out from the rolling pin and the two foodies ate happily. After eating and drinking, Yun Chujo made the rolling pin stand guard at the entrance of the cave as she fell asleep. Master! Someone's coming. The rolling pin hopped into the cave. Yun Chujo quickly jumped up and put out the campfire with water. Then, she took the rolling pin and hid in the dark cave. Yun Chujo took off the spirit concealing ring and peeked out through the gap of the dark cave. Junior brother's son, it seems that someone has made a campfire here. The person speaking was a male disciple of Heavenly Gates sect. Yun Chujo knew him. He was the Wang Dongliang who was defeated by Mo Zhua in the last arena match. Senior brother Wang, there are no other spiritual fluctuations here. The person from before must have left. Even if he didn't leave, he wouldn't dare to provoke us. With our strength alone, who would dare to provoke us? The person speaking was someone with a duck's voice. It was Sun Liang, who was forced by Yun Chujo to write a confession. Zhang Xiong, quickly bring those 3 girls in. This place can be used as our bridal chamber. Ha! Sun Liang's face revealed a lewd expression as he laughed evilly. Another 3 people came in from behind. One of them had a hooked nose, it was Elder Zhang's grandson, Zhang Xiong. The other 2 people also looked somewhat familiar. Back when they were competing at Spirit Radiance Sect, they had also been on the stage. The 3 of them each pushed a woman whose hands were tied with ropes as they walked in with a mischievous smile. The 3 women were Yun Chu, Yun Chuki, and Su Yun. Yun Chujo clenched her teeth as she watched from behind. Now that the 3 of them were in their hands, she could not be impulsive. She had to think of a foolproof plan. These 3 girls are each more beautiful than the other. Let's play here for a few days first. When the time comes, we can go out and fight for some spiritual herbs to get points. Zhang Xiong said as he touched Su Yun's face with his hand. Su Yun's spiritual power must have been restrained. She had something stuffed in her mouth and was trying her best to dodge him. Bitch! I advise you to be sensible. Serve us well, and maybe we will spare your lives. Otherwise, we'll kill you when we're done. Zhang Xiong pinched Su Yun's face. Zhang Xiong, why are you so anxious? Let's eat first, and then we'll have a good time. Sun Liang asked Zhang Xiong and the others to tie their feet with ropes and push them to the corner of the wall. The 5 of them took out some dry food from their storage bags and began to eat dinner. While eating, they also said some lewd words. They did not notice that there were wisps of smoke coming out from the gap in the wall behind them. Yunchu and the other two who were leaning against the wall fainted first. Then, Zhang Xiong and the other three also began to feel that something was amiss. Hey! Why do I feel lightheaded? Me too. What's going on? Could it be that someone poisoned? Before the five of them could finish their words, they all fainted one after another. Yun Chuzhou walked out from behind the dark wall and fed each of the five of them a spirit-devouring powder. Then, she took out a rope and tied them into a string. Only then did she start to feed the three women the antidote and loosen the rope. Fifth sister. Seventh sister. Senior sister Su. Wake up. Soon, the three of them woke up. When they saw that it was Yun Chuzhou who saved them, they were all pleasantly surprised. Is there anything wrong with your bodies? The reason why Yun Chuzhou did not kill the five people immediately was that she was afraid that they fed Yun Chu and the others poison or something. Little Jiu, we're fine. They only fed us the spirit-devouring powder. Yun Chuzhou nodded. Then there was nothing to worry about. Yun Chuzhou walked in front of the five people, took out a large kitchen knife, and hacked them to death one by one. Then, she searched their storage bags and generously put their possessions into hers. When a certain realm spirit saw the scene, it cursed angrily, "Idiot! Idiot! Are these five humans pigs? How could they be hacked to death just like that? Humph. I'll do something else. I don't believe that Yun Chuzhou has such good luck." Chapter 302. I need to sleep. Although Yun Chu and the others were already used to Yun Chuzhi's ferocity, they were still a little shocked when she chopped off their heads like a carrot. Yes, little Jiu was indeed brave. Yun Chuzhou looked at the five corpses on the ground and muttered, "Sigh, I miscalculated. I should have dragged them outside and chopped them up there. The clean cave is now dirty. Fifth sister, help me drag them inside." Yun Chuzhou ordered Yun Chu and the others to drag the five corpses into the secret room. Then, she cleaned up the blood stains on the ground and asked, "How did you get caught by them?" Yun Chuki gnashed her teeth and said, "This morning, when we were collecting purple hawk grass, we met these five people. We originally planned to crush the jade tokens, but we did not expect the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan to rush over. They said that we're all from Spirit Radiance sect, so we have to be unanimous at a time like this and face outsiders together. It was 6 against 5, so we weren't afraid of them. Moreover, the Bai siblings' spiritual power is very high. We didn't expect that the three of them would actually help those 5 people to restrain us while fighting. We didn't even have the chance to crush the jade tokens." Yun Chuzhou sighed. "What did I tell you? You can't let your guard down. You'll learn your lesson this time, won't you?" Yun Chu and Yun Chuki hung their heads in shame and did not say a word. If they had not met little Jiu, they would definitely have lost their lives. "Senior sister Su, please keep what happened today a secret to prevent the Heavenly Gate sect from taking revenge." Yun Chuzhou looked at Su Yun by the side and thought to herself, "Senior sister Su has already been implicated twice by us. It could be fate." Su Yun nodded. She was grateful for Yun Chuzhi's life-saving grace, and she was also shocked by Yun Chuzhi's valiant behavior, so she naturally would not raise any objections. "Let's make do here for the night, and we'll discuss the next step tomorrow." Yun Chuzhou yawned and said, "Little Jiu, go ahead and sleep. I'll be on night duty." After this matter, Yun Chuki's actions became more steady. "All right, the three of you take turns to be on night duty. I won't participate. After all, I'm still young. I have to ensure that I sleep and grow well." Yun Chuzhou said shamelessly. Yun Chu and the other two were speechless. At the same time, Elder Zhang, the leader of the Heavenly Gates sect, cried out miserably outside the array formation. "Little Xiong! Who killed my grandson?" The other elders of Heavenly Gates immediately surrounded him. "Elder Zhang, what's wrong? Elder Zhang took out a broken jade token and said with tears flowing down his face, little Xiong's jade token was broken. My grandson was killed. Everyone comforted him. Every time a disciple died in a trial, there was nothing they could do about it. I gave him several defensive spirit tools. How could he die? How is this possible? Elder Zhang still could not accept the fact that his grandson was dead. Maybe he encountered a group of demonic beasts and died. Elder Zhang, don't be sad. Elder Zhang said with a cracked voice as he stared at Yazi, if it was a demonic beast, it's fine. But if I find out my grandson was killed by a person, I won't forgive him. Yun Chuzhou sneezed twice in her sleep and turned over to continue sleeping. Yes, she made a small fortune today. Not bad, not bad. The next morning, the four of them had breakfast and gathered to discuss their next step. Yun Chuzhou originally wanted to wait for the trial to end, but after hearing about Yun Chuki and the others' encounter, she felt that the Bai siblings were up to something. She was a little worried about Yun Chuzi and the others, so they decided to look for Yun Chuzi and the rest. They were truly enemies on a narrow road. 1. The four of them walked out for less than an hour and had bumped into the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan. Chapter 303, Lying Through Her Teeth, You Guys Didn't Die. Bai Moru cried out in surprise. Bai Moyu glared at Bai Moru, and he hurriedly added, what Moru means is that it's great that you guys are fine. They have the advantage in numbers. When we saw that you guys were taken away, we were really helpless. Now that we've gathered all of our senior and junior brothers, we were going to save you guys. The few Spirit Radiance sect disciples behind him chimed in, that's right. Senior Brother Bai told us that you were all taken away by the people from Heavenly Gates sect and we're going to save all of you. When Yun Chu and the other two heard Bai Moyu altering the truth, they were so angry that their faces turned red. Bai Moyu, you're spouting nonsense. It's clear that the three of you colluded with the people of Heavenly Gates sect. Bai Moyu's face was filled with shock. Junior sisters, although we may have some personal grudges in the past, we are all disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. How could we do such a terrible thing? Junior sisters, you can't malign us just because we weren't able to save you back then because of our limited abilities. Yun Chushan also said softly from the side, that's right. The 5 individuals from Heavenly Gates sect had superb spiritual power, and we really had no choice. We're also very sympathetic to your suffering. After all, as women, after encountering such a thing, it's indeed, slap. Slap. Before Yun Chushan could finish her words, Yun Chuzhou slapped her twice. Yun Chushan was stunned by the slap. She never expected that Yun Chuzhou would slap her without a word. Yun Chushan, shut your stinky mouth. You want to know what happened? Truthfully, those 5 people encountered a demonic beast horde and were already doomed. Bai Moya's eyes flashed, they encountered a group of demonic beasts. How are you all fine? Yun Chuzhou sneered, hearing what you said, are you regretful that we didn't die? The 5 of them discovered a high-grade bright lotus plant and made my 3rd sister and the others fight for that bright lotus plant. I took this opportunity to save them. It's really a case of karma. They didn't expect that the bright lotus plant would be guarded by a group of 5 ringed, silver-horned snakes. When we left, they were already surrounded by that group of 5 ringed, silver-horned snakes. Although Yun Chu and the other 2 did not have any expression on their faces, they were dumbfounded in their hearts. Little Jiu, how on earth did you train your ability to lie through your teeth? You speak of fictional things as if they're real. If we weren't personally witnessing it, we would have believed you. Moreover, these words could be used to advance or retreat when needed. Even if the 5 corpses were discovered, they could still justify themselves. After all, when they left, those 5 people were not dead yet. Anything could have happened after. Bai Moyu and the others saw that Yun Chuzhou and the others' expressions were very natural, and what they said was reasonable. After all, the temptation of high-grade earth-rank spirit medicines was too great. If it were them, they would also go and pick them at all costs. Yun Chuzhou originally wanted to find an opportunity to kill the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan, but now that the other disciples of Spirit Radiance sect were there, it was not easy to do so. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou planned to bring Yun Chu and the others away. Bai Moya's eyes flickered a few times. Junior sisters, why don't you follow us? There's strength in numbers. Even if we meet people from Heavenly Gates sect, we aren't afraid. Although Bai Moyu said so, he felt that Yun Chuzhou and the others definitely would not agree. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou said with a clear voice, "All right. Let's go together." Yun Chuzhou thought to herself, since we can't find fourth brother and the others for the time being, why don't we follow Bai siblings and the others? At least we can prevent them from framing fourth brother and the others. Chapter 304, Yun Chuzhou must stay. Although Yun Chu and the others did not know what Yun Chuzhou meant, they were already used to going with Yun Chuzhi's arrangements, so they did not say anything. Bai Moya's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. It's great that you're all throwing your lives away. In the next few days, Yun Chuzhou and the others trained with the Bai siblings. However, Yun Chuzhi's actions angered the Bai siblings. Every time a demonic beast came, Yun Chuzhou would retreat far away and cheer them on. Good fight. Put in more effort. I have high hopes for you. Bai Moyu, Bai Moru. You two have the highest spiritual power, hurry up and attack. Why aren't you exerting your strength? Are you not willing to let us benefit from your prestige? Bai Moru angrily shouted, Yun Chuzhou, why aren't you attacking? Yun Chuzhou said with a matter-of-factly, because my spiritual power is the lowest, and am the youngest. You guys are so powerful. Shouldn't you take care of a young seedling like me? Besides, I don't share your spoils of war. What are you unhappy about? You. Bai Moru almost choked. Yun Chuzhou kept her word. She really did not want any spoils of war. It was as if she was just watching the scenery with them. The others did not have any thought seeing Yun Chuzhou acting like that. After all, she was only at the 4th level of spirit enhancement. Even if she participated in the battle, she would not be of much help. They were so happy that they did not have to share anything. That day, they found a piece of black category, low-grade jade bellflower, and they were extremely excited. Oh my God! There are more than 100 of them. Our points will increase significantly. That's right. Our luck is really great. This is a black category, low-grade spirit herb. Today's harvest is equivalent to a few days' harvest. What made them even more ecstatic was that that piece of jade bellflower did not even have a single demonic beast guarding it. Their luck was simply superb. The group had just picked a few jade bellflowers when they heard a sneer. Stop! These jade bellflowers belong to Heavenly Gates sect. If you don't want to die, get lost. The people from Spirit Radiance sect raised their heads and saw more than a dozen Heavenly Gates sect disciples. They were clustered around a beautiful woman. It was Su Yenran. Su Yenran glared at Yun Chuzhou viciously and then inadvertently exchanged looks with the Bai siblings. The one who spoke was a male disciple of the Heavenly Gates sect. His attitude was extremely arrogant. Didn't you hear what I just said? Quickly leave. Otherwise, it'll take your little lives. The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect immediately became indignant. Are you being reasonable? We were the ones who discovered these jade bellflowers first. Reasonable? We only care about brawn. Why don't we spar? With our junior sister Su here, all of you will die. The disciple of Heavenly Gates sect said proudly. Along the way, they had robbed many disciples from Spirit Radiance sect. They were practically invincible. Bai Moyu seemed to be in a difficult position. He thought for a moment and said, Everyone, although these jade bellflowers are hard to come by, we don't stand to lose much. There might be high-grade spirit herbs ahead. Let's go. Although the other disciples of Spirit Radiance sect were unwilling, the Bai siblings had the highest spiritual power, so they could only obey. Just as the disciples were about to leave, Su Yanran said, "You can leave, but leave Yunchujiu behind. I want to resolve some personal grudges with her." Bai Moya's eyes flashed, and he said in a difficult manner, "Cousin Yanran, can you let Yunchujiu go this time on account of your brother?" Su Yanran sneered, "Cousin, we belong to two different sects, so don't try to build a relationship like in the secular world anymore. Yunchujiu must stay. Otherwise, all of you will die." Bai Moyu pretended to be troubled, turned around, and asked the people of Spirit Radiance sect, "Everyone, although this decision is very difficult, the bigger picture is more important. Let's go." Chapter 305, If you step out of the ring, you lose. Yunchu sneered, "If you want to leave, you can leave. We won't give up on little Jiu." Yunchuki and Su Yun also stood in front of Yunchujiu, protecting Yunchujiu behind them. The other disciples of Spirit Radiance sect looked at Bai Moyu and then at Yunchujiu, feeling a little conflicted. Su Yanran's spiritual power was superb, and they were indeed no match for her. However, they would not be able to live with their conscience if they disregarded the lives of their fellow disciples. Seeing their hesitation, Bai Moya's eyes flashed as he said, "Everyone, I understand your feelings, but even if we fight head-on, it'll only cost us our lives. It won't be of much use. Since that's the case, why strike a stone with an egg, one?" Bai Moru was somewhat impatient and said with a sullen face, "Forget it if you don't want to leave. Brother, let's go." When the people of Spirit Radiance sect saw that the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan had left, they felt a little scared. The three strongest people had already left. If they stayed here, would they not be waiting for death? Yun Chujiu looked at them and said faintly, "Senior brothers, you can leave. I won't blame you. After all, we're not relatives. We're just fellow disciples. Last time, I offended Su Yanran for the sake our Spirit Radiance sect's honor. Consider this as something I deserve. Fifth sister, you guys should leave too. Let me die in the hands of Heavenly Gates sect. For the sake of our Spirit Radiance sect, I'll die without regrets." When the disciples heard those words, they could not help but blush with shame. That was right. Why did Su Yanran want to kill Yunchujiu? Was it not because Yunchujiu defeated her in the competition previously? Why did Yunchujiu want to? She wanted to protect Spirit Radiance sect's honor. They actually wanted to escape at the last minute and hand over the lives of their fellow disciples to the Heavenly Gates sect. Were they even worthy of being members of Spirit Radiance sect? They were simply not human. Junior sister little Jiu, we're not leaving. At most, we'll die together. 20 years later, we'd still be the good guys. Right. We're not leaving. Even if we die, we'll drag someone down with us. What's so great about Heavenly Gates sect? Damn it. It's still not certain who will win or lose in the end. Bai Moyu, who had walked some distance, could not help but frown. However, now that things had come to this point, there was no way to end it, so he could only continue walking forward. In any case, these people would die in the end, and the sect would not be able to trace it back to them. Seeing that the disciples of Spirit Radiance sect were naturally good people, Yun Chujiu decided to put away her tricks. Yun Chujiu motioned for everyone to stand back, and then looked at Su Yanran a few times. Su Yanran, you forgot something very important. You can't kill us. We just need to crush the jade token and we'll be out of this mystic realm. Su Yanran was stunned. That was right. How did she forget about that? The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect all slapped their thighs. That's right, they did not need to die at all. They had all been led astray by Bai Moyu. They would be fine once they crushed the jade token. How stupid. Su Yanran, I know that you feel very indignant about losing to me last time. How about this? I'm the kindest person. I'll give you a chance. Let's have another competition. If I lose, I promise that I'll never use the teleportation jade token. If you lose, you'll immediately take your people and leave. Also, you're not allowed to cause trouble for us in this mystic realm. Whoever breaks the oath will be struck by lightning. Do you dare to agree? Besides, I'd already crush my jade token. I wouldn't be able to use it even if I wanted to. Su Yanran thought that as long as Yun Chujiu did not use the teleportation jade token, she would have the confidence to kill her. Hence, she sneered, all right. I agree. Let's do it. Ah, your personality is really too impetuous. No wonder you can't beat me. I haven't said the rules yet. Let's draw a circle. Whoever comes out of the circle first will lose. How about it? If you agree, well, take an oath. Su Yanran snorted coldly and swore. Yun Chujiu, who was at the side, also made a decent vow. Then, she took out a rolling pin and drew a circle with a diameter of about 30 feet. Yun Chujiu and Su Yanran entered the circle. Yun Chujiu was happy. Come on. Let's begin. Come and beat me to your heart's content. The people of Spirit Radiance sect could not bear to look at her. Junior sister Little Jiu, are you stupid? Who asks for a beating themselves? Chapter 306, Just Playing with You. Su Yanran looked at Yun Chujiu suspiciously. This bitch has many bad ideas. Did she prepare some chili noodles again? Humph. You can only use that insidious trick once. If you use it again, I'll use my spiritual power to put up a spiritual shield. You can't hurt me. Come on, be happy. There's a lot of time anyway. Yun Chujiu hummed a little tune and signaled Su Yanran to come hither. Su Yanran was livid and slapped Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu did not even dodge. She just stood there calmly and continued humming a tune. Yun Chu and the others were so scared that they closed their eyes. It was over. Su Yanran's cultivation was at the peak of the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm. This slap would definitely kill Yun Chujiu. Huh? Why did they not hear Yun Chujiu's scream? Everyone opened their eyes and saw that Yun Chujiu was still standing there with a smile on her face. On the other hand, Su Yanran had a dumbfounded look on her face. Why, you have a defensive spirit tool on you? Yun Chujiu shrugged her shoulders. Yes, there's nothing I can do. I'm too weak. Our sect leader gave me dozens of defensive spirit tools to protect myself. Go ahead and fight. I reckon that you won't be able to hit me even if we fight until tomorrow morning. When the time comes, I'll just kick you out of the circle. Whether it was the people from Spirit Radiance sect or those from Heavenly Gates sect, they all had blank expressions. Dozens of defensive spirit tools. Yun Chujiu, are you kidding us? Not to mention you're an unimportant servant. Even the sect elders don't have that many, okay? Su Yanran gritted her teeth in anger. You're spouting nonsense. I'm going to beat you to death today. Yun Chujiu spread her hands. You don't believe me? Then hit me. I'll sit down and rest. After saying that, Yun Chujiu really sat down on the ground and took out a spiritual fruit and started eating it. Su Yanran was so angry that her head was about to smoke. She hit Yun Chujiu more than 10 times in a row. Unfortunately, these attacks were all blocked by an invisible spiritual barrier when they were 1 foot away from Yun Chujiu. Su Yanran refused to believe it and continued to wave her palms. Yun Chujiu suddenly smiled at Su Yanran and said in a crisp voice, Su Yanran, I'm going to use hidden weapons. Be careful. Su Yanran was afraid that Yun Chujiu would use the chili again, so she quickly raised her spiritual shield. She did not expect Yun Chujiu to smile evilly before saying, I'm just playing with you. You're so gullible. Su Yenran was so angry that she kept twitching. She removed her spiritual shield and tried to hit Yun Chuzhou again. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou raised her hand again. Su Yenran, I really used a hidden weapon this time. Su Yenran quickly raised her spiritual shield again. Then, she heard Yun Chuzhou giggle. You idiot. I was just teasing you. After doing this a few times, Su Yenran was about to explode with anger. Hence, when Yun Chuzhou said she would use a hidden weapon again, she did not dodge at all. Instead, she raised her hand and attacked Yun Chuzhou. Unexpectedly, Yun Chuzhou was serious this time. She threw a big sack at Su Yenran. Su Yenran wanted to use her spiritual energy shield, but it was too late, so she quickly turned to the side. Before Su Yenran could react, Yun Chuzhou threw a few big sacks at her. Su Yenran was afraid that there were chili inside, so she did not dare to hit them and could only dodge. Ha! You're out of the ring. You lost. Yun Chuzhou clapped her hands and said with a smile. Su Yenran looked down. She was so focused on avoiding those sacks that she was indeed out of the ring. Why you cheated? Su Yenran could not accept the fact that she had lost again. There's no such thing as cheating in war, do you understand? Cut the crap and leave quickly. We still have to pick the jade bell flowers. We don't have the time to deal with you. Yun Chuzhou put the sacks on the ground into her storage ring. The items inside precious and could not be discovered by others. Su Yanran's beautiful face contorted with anger, and she was bleeding from her fingernails. However, cultivators valued oaths very much. If they broke an oaths, not only would they be punished by the heavens, they would also form inner demons. Therefore, although they were unwilling, they could only leave with the people of the Tian sect in anger. A certain realm's spiritual energy crashed into the wall. Trash. Trash. How could there be such a huge difference in intelligence between people who lived on the same continent? Are you all pig-brained? Just kill them immediately. You still want to make a bet out of it? Can that pig brain of yours beat a little weird like Yun Chuzhou? Looks like the realm spirit would have to personally make a move. Chapter 307, Little Jiu was still inside. Junior sister Little Jiu, you're really great at the art of deception. The people of the Heavenly Gates sect have suffered a loss. Junior sister Little Jiu, you're really too smart. Junior sister Little Jiu, don't tell me that your sack is filled with chili noodles. Yun Chuzhou waved her little claws. It's a small matter not worth mentioning. Everyone, hurry up and pick these jade bell flowers, lest others take advantage of them. Everyone felt that it made sense and quickly picked the jade bell flowers. Yun Chuzhou claimed that she was on sentry duty, but in reality, she was standing idly by the side. Suddenly, the sky began to darken. A huge pressure descended on the entire trial mystic realm. Many disciples could not help but kneel on the ground. Some even began to pant. Yun Chuzhou's scalp was slightly numb. She quickly shouted to the people behind her, things are changing. Hurry up and crush the jade tokens to get out. The people did not dare to delay. They crushed the jade token and disappeared on the spot. Little Jiu, don't just stand there. Quickly take out the jade token. Yun Chu quickly said when she saw that Yun Chuzhou did not move. Yun Chuzhou smiled bitterly in her heart. She wanted to crush it, but her jade token was a fucking defective product. Yun Chuzhou did not tell the truth. If she did, Yun Chu and Yun Chuki definitely would not go out. Thus, she said, you guys go first. I'll join you at the end. Yun Chu and Yun Chuki were used to following Yun Chuzhou's orders. After hearing her words, they crushed their jade tokens and disappeared. Sigh. They're all gone. I don't know if I can use this jade token from Heavenly Gates sect. Let me try. Yun Chuzhou took out a jade token that she had found on Zhang Xiong and the others. After crushing it, there was no reaction. Sigh, I knew it. This jade token is connected to spiritual sense. It's useless to use someone else's. Although Yun Chujo had already expected that, she was still a little disappointed. I want to see what kind of tricks this mystic realm is playing. Yun Chujo simply sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. The pressure in the mystic realm grew stronger and stronger. Other than Yun Chujo, the trial disciples had all crushed their jade tokens and were teleported out of the mystic realm. Outside the mystic realm, the elders of Spirit Radiance sect and Heavenly Gates sect did not pay much attention to it at first. They thought that the disciples that were teleported out had encountered some kind of demonic beast. However, as more and more people came out, they felt that something was amiss. After the elders interrogated them, they finally understood that something had happened inside the mystic realm. Therefore, they began to count the number of people. Both Spirit Radiance sect and Heavenly Gates sect had lost more than 10 people, which was normal. Disciples would perish in every trial. However, why did the ancient mystic realm suddenly underwent a change? Elder Shao. Elder Chu. Little Jiu hasn't come out yet. Little Jiu is still inside. Yun Chu said with a sobbing voice. After Yun Chu and the others came out, they waited for a long time but still didn't see Yun Chujo come out. They immediately panicked. Elder Shao and Elder Chu looked at each other, and their hearts moved. Could it be that Yun Chujo caused the change in the mystic realm? Elder Zhang of Heavenly Gates sect had lost his grandson, so he was not in the mood to keep track of the results. Instead, he kept finding people to interrogate about Zhang Xiong. Bai Moya's eyes flickered. Yun Chujo had most likely died in the mystic realm. Otherwise, he could pin Zhang Xiong's death on Yun Chujo through Yanren's cousin's mouth. She was lucky to have died in the mystic realm. Su Yanran also heard that Yun Chujo did not come out, and she could not help but smile coldly. Good that she was dead. Yun Chujo, didn't you boast that you were smart? Yet, you died in the mystic realm. Chapter 308, The Realm Spirit That Was Dumber Than a Pig. Since this was an unexpected situation, both sects were caught unprepared. However, they decided to wait and observe. The Heavenly Gates sect decided to see if they could find any clues because Elder Zhang had not found out the cause of Zhang Xiong's death. Spirit Radiance sect was naturally doing this for Yun Chujo. She was a rare Heavenly Thunder Root spirit. Most importantly, regardless of whether anyone admitted it or not, Yun Chujo was Patriarch Linghua's personal disciple. Nothing must happen to her. However, Elder Shao and Elder Chu had an inexplicable feeling that Yun Chujo would not die. After all, she was a little weird who could not be killed even after 10 hours of heavenly lightning strikes. How could she die so easily? After a certain realm spirit forced all the disciples in the trial to leave, it secretly withdrew its pressure. If this continued, the low-level demon beasts in the mystic realm would probably choke on their farts too. The realm spirit thought of several ways to harm Yun Chujo, and in the end, it chose a plan that it was the most confident in. Yes, it decided to use heavenly lightning to strike Yun Chujo to death. Although you have the heavenly lightning root spirit, a person's veins and dantian contain a limited amount of lightning power. The power of lightning is the most brutal. This realm spirit will make you explode and die. Ha! I am really too smart. Yun Chujo noticed a thick and heavy dark cloud floating above her head. She smiled and said, "Yo, this mystic realm can even produce lightning? Interesting. Time to feed my grass." A certain realm spirit continuously directed the lightning elements in the mystic realm to gather together to form a purple lightning tribulation. Strike! Strike! Strike Yun Chujo to death! Boom! Boom! The sound of huge lightning strikes could be heard continuously. A certain realm spirit smiled smugly. "Little fellow, Even if you have a heavenly lightning root spirit, you can't withstand so many bolts of tribulation lightning. It'll hack you to death. You can't use conventional method to deal with a little weirdo like her. You have to be rough. This realm spirit was smarter. Much better than those pig brains for sure. A certain realm spirit smiled smugly for a while, and then was dumbfounded. This is impossible. Why is nothing happening to Yunchujo? She's still happily munching on a fruit. Also, why did my thunder element disappear? Sob sob. If there's no thunder element in the mystic realm, how can I intimidate those high-level demon beasts? The realm spirit was dumbfounded for a while, and then it finally turned its head around. Could it be that the thunder element had been swallowed by Yunchujo? That was not right. If she had absorbed all the lightning energy, then she should have been blown up a long time ago. Why was she still alive and kicking? The realm spirit looked like it had nothing to live for. What should it do? Without the lightning element, the prestige of my realm spirit would be greatly reduced. It thought for a long time and decided to give Yunchujo a chance to fight back. Hey! Yunchujo! You're a little pervert that the heavens can't tolerate. Give me back the power of lightning that you have swallowed and I'll let you out. Yunchujo chewed on the fruit and curled her lips. What the hell is this? Come out and speak. The realm spirit was hopping around. I'm not a thing. Yunchujo nodded. Yes, what you said makes sense. You are indeed not a thing. Yunchujo. I am a realm spirit. Aren't you afraid that it'll kill you if you offend me? The realm spirit realized that she had challenged it. Ah, it was so angry. This Yunchujo was really too detestable. Haven't you already started to harm me? My jade token was faulty. The place where I was randomly teleported to had thousands of desert scorpions, a tier 8 single-horned devil lizard, and a group of tier 5 silver desert wolves. Oh right, and the lightning strike just now. Just keep attacking. I'll wait for you. Yunchujo had already figured everything out the moment the realm spirit spoke. The realm spirit coughed dryly, feeling guilty. Who told you to have the heavenly thunder root spirit that the heavens doesn't allow? I was just following the heavens. You can't blame me. I even showed you mercy. Otherwise, I would have directly teleported you into the cactus thorn. Oh. Is that so? I thought there were some rules or restrictions or something. Yunchujo said indifferently. The realm spirit almost fell to the ground. Fuck, this Yunchujo was simply not human. How did she know? You. How did you know? Yunchujo said vaguely as she chewed on the fruit, it's a bluff. I didn't expect you to be so stupid to admit it. You're even dumber than a pig. Ah, no. If I said that, it would be too insulting to a pig. Chapter 309, Furry Ball. A certain realm spirit was so angry that it jumped in front of Yunchujo. Yunchujo. Hurry up and apologize to me. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Yunchujo looked at the little thing that was jumping in front of her and almost laughed until she passed out. What the hell was that? It was a furry ball with short limbs, jumping up and down as it walked. Did this furry ball become a spirit? Oh, it was a black ball of yarn. Stop laughing. If you laugh at me again, I'll get angry, the ball of yarn roared. Yunchujo tried hard to hold back her laughter. She poked the ball of yarn with her hand. Hey, it feels pretty nice. The ball of yarn immediately shrank its hands and feet into the ball. Its black fur strangely turned light pink. Stop. You pervert. How dare you tease me? Yunchujo's eyes lit up. Oh my. You can change colors. Interesting. Yunchujo stretched out her claws again and kept poking. The ball of yarn turned from a light pink color to a bright red color like blood. It grinned. Then, it began to wail loudly. Wah! Wah! You're bullying me. No one would do that. Not only did you swallow my thunder element, you even teased me. I'm not going to live anymore. Yun Chujo touched her nose. Didn't I just poke it a few times? Is there a need for that? This realm spirit should be a good one, right? Why did it wail at the slightest disagreement? It did not matter that the furry was crying. It started to rain in the mystical realm. At first, it was drizzling, but later, it became a torrential downpour. All right. Don't cry anymore. You're smarter than a pig. Wah! Furry cried even harder, rolling on the ground as it did. Yun Chujo touched her forehead. All right. All right. I won't tease you anymore. Furry was still unwilling to let it go and continued to roll on the ground. Are you done yet? Get lost and cry far away. Yun Chujo was furious. She kicked Furry. Whoosh! The ball of yarn was kicked hundreds of feet away. It got up and angrily pointed at Yun Chujo. You vicious woman. How dare you kick me? I'll fight you to the death. The ball of yarn headed toward Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo took out a rolling pin and hit the ball of yarn. I told you to harm me. I told you to be smug. I told you to scold me. I told you to get lost. I told you to make a scene. Bang! 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 The ball of yarn was beaten into a blanket. The ball of yarn collapsed on the ground. It was truly regretful. Why did I have to provoke this scourge? I was looking for a beating. Wouldn't a normal person ingratiate themselves with me when they hear that I'm a realm spirit? Why did this little weirdo not only dare to laugh at me, but also hit me? She isn't human. She's a pervert. She's a scourge. Furry felt that it had nothing left to live for. For a realm spirit to experience what it experienced, it could be said that it had lost all its honor. Yun Chujo looked at a realm spirit who was motionless and her eyes flashed. She sighed and said, Furry, I was so angry that I accidentally hit you. I'm really sorry. What? What? Furry could not believe its ears. Has the little witch changed her personality? She actually apologized to me? Furry, I'm not targeting you. I'm targeting that. Yun Chujo secretly pointed at the top. Didn't you listen to its instructions and set me up? At most, you're an accomplice. Moreover, you're also a victim. We share the same fate. What do you mean? I'm a victim too. Are you kidding me? How can I be a victim? I'm in a good place. Chapter 310, You will definitely be cheated. Yun Chujo quickly covered her mouth. Blinking her eyes, she said, I spilled the beans. Just pretend that I didn't say anything. You're really good at being a spiritual cultivator. You're really not a victim, I'm just talking nonsense. Don't overthink it. Please don't overthink it. With Yun Chujo saying that, it would be strange if Furry did not overthink. Yun Chujo, you must be hiding something from me. Tell me quickly. Furry looked at Yun Chujo nervously. Yun Chujo frowned. It's really nothing. You're overthinking. Tell me quickly. Otherwise, I'll cry again. Furry felt that it was shameless. Other than crying, it had no other way to deal with this little weirdo, Yun Chujo. Sigh. All right. Then I'll tell you my little opinion. You don't have to take it to heart. Just treat it as if I am talking nonsense. Yun Chujo sighed and said helplessly. Tell me. Tell me. Furry widened its eyes and was extremely nervous. In this mystical realm, all the demon beasts listen to your command. If you say it will rain, then it will rain. If you say it will thunder, then it will thunder. Don't you think it's awesome to be in charge of this mystical realm? Yun Chujio asked with a smile. Fei's body suddenly swelled up, clearly very proud. TSK TSK TSK. Furry, you're actually very pitiful. Look, this mystic realm is now used by the low-level disciples of the 4 great sects for the trial, right? When they bring that mirror fragment and shine it on you, you have to open the door for them. When they come in, they're killing your demonic beasts and picking your spiritual herbs. You can't even do a thing about it. Don't you think that you're like a watchdog? Also, your realm spirit might look impressive, but you don't have any real abilities. Even after another 10,000 years, you'll still be like this. Perhaps some mighty figure may not like this mystic realm and will destroy it. Then, you'll be dead. TSK TSK, you've been trapped in this small world for your entire life. It's really sad and lamentable. Sigh, the outside world is full of exciting things, but you're like a frog sitting in a well, enjoying the golden cage that others have made for you. What a pitiful person. Yun Chujio saw Fei's stunned expression. She continued, Furry, I'm a soft-hearted person. I'll say whatever comes to my mind. Don't take it to heart. Actually, you're doing pretty well now. A country bumpkin waiting to die is also not bad. Just pretend that I didn't say anything. Furry felt that its worldview had suffered a paradigm shift. Why did it feel that what Yun Chujio said made sense? That's right, I'm no different from a watchdog. It had to change. The world was so big. It had to go out and take a look. Furry used its 2 short claws to hug Yun Chujio's calf. Benefactor, what you said makes sense. Please help me. How can I get out of this situation? The rolling pin looked at Furry sympathetically. Unlucky fellow. You unlucky fellow. You're just repeating my mistake. My master doesn't have good intentions. You will definitely be cheated. Yun Chujio looked at Furry and let out a long sigh. Sigh. My biggest weakness is that I'm too kind. Too soft-hearted. Although we have a grudge, you're so cute. I really can't bear to let you suffer like this, let me think of a way. Furry was so touched that she cried, Benefactor. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I deeply regret my previous actions. As long as you help me, I'll definitely make it up to you. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.